All right, that's the music. Okay,
Yeah.
and stop that. All right, so I think we are live. Welcome, everybody.
Oh, okay.
And I haven't obviously rehearsed this very well. Welcome to the Thursday Night Forum. Welcome to my life, Stan and Alonso. And hope you're both doing well. So there you go.
Not really.
Tell me about it. We're live, Stan. Go ahead.
Just got a bad back.
Oh, okay.
It's driving me
I
up.
thought it
It's
was.
driving me crazy. Well, I found out um, that I've got arthritis in my neck, a moderate,
Jeez.
and it's causing problems in my upper back and down my right arm.
Well, that's not good. We hope it gets better for you, right?
It doesn't get better. So I'm drinking gin and tonic to kind of take the edge off.
To numb the pain, right? Numb it.
Yeah.
All right. Alonso, how are you doing?
I'm all right.
Remember always to trust the process, right?
Nice cut
Because
back.
we are the top gunners. We are the top gunners that the Cratons talk about. Anyway, enough of that. Alonso, let's talk about Leeds 0, Arsenal 5. Start us off, Alonso.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good result. I think lineup suited our strengths than it was our weaknesses. We had Bikayo on the right, and we had Madueke on the left. Defense scores really starts up front with Odegaard and Rice, and Zavindi in the middle with Timber, Saliba, Megalash, and Calafiori. Yeah, it just was started the game with my mom and my friends Robbie and Melanie. Today's my birthday, so it was a good result, good game. Started off kind of slow, but we already have new players playing for Arsenal. It takes a while to gel, in my opinion. Yeah, I think we'll talk about the goal scoring efforts by the players, particularly Chris. But yeah, it was a great result, great win. I think that kind of shows how hungry they were after the first game, and the second game kind of blew them away, right? So yeah, all in all, great day, great Saturday morning, afternoon for me.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. Following up the game at Old Trafford where we won 1-0. Well, there was goals aplenty on Saturday afternoon, Saturday morning for Stan, and late morning for Alonso. Stan, you didn't have to get up real early. It's about 9 o'clock for you. Did you make it to the pub?
No, I had a no, I had a lay in. See, the thing is, like, I like to have a late Friday evening, right? Even if I'm at home, I
Yeah,
like to stay up and watch films or what have you.
yeah,
You know, and torment the missus, whatever it may be. And
yeah.
so I didn't make it to the pub. I was up at 9, and I managed to slide onto the sofa for 9:30, which was kick-off.
Yeah. Uh,
And yeah,
so
so a good score. A 5. That's always nice. You have a big score
by
like that,
5.
and also, um, another clean sheet, which is always good. And
Hmm.
if you look around the leagues, and you look at the teams that are kind of considered our competition this season, we're the only ones that have managed to keep clean sheets, which I think is quite a testament to the way that we work with our defensive work and off the ball work, which I've sang high praises about. But we'll get into it. And welcome, Gary. Hello, sir.
Hello there, Stan. Hello, Ray.
Hello,
Hello,
Larry.
Lonzo. Everybody in the chat. Hello, hello.
hey Gary.
All right, give us your opening comments. Cast your mind back to Saturday. Well, Gary, you probably watched the game 3 times by now, right? So you know twice of
Maybe
it,
2.5. Maybe 2.5.
maybe 2.5.
Maybe
Your
two and a
thoughts on
half.
a 5-0 thrashing of Leeds United, and I warned Mr. Tom that we're getting 6 points from Leeds. That is the admission price back to the Premier League. Know your place in the food chain, and Arsenal's somewhere near the top of that food chain.
Yeah, I mean, I
Leeds
think.
determined. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say. I mean, this is why we wanted. I mean, this is why we wanted to get our business done sooner, so that the team can gel. I think the team is still working things out right now. That's first 30 minutes took a bit of, it looked a little off for us, and then we started clicking into gear and got some things going, and then things opened up for us. Even though we got injuries, which should have slowed us down, but we got depth now. So, yeah, no, it was a good. The last 60 minutes of the game were really good. I mean, we scored 5 goals in the 60 minutes. Didn't look like we were going to be able to get it through in that first 30, but then we got, we go back to our bread and butter, right when all else fails, set piece FC. I'll take that any day if that's going to get us going. We need to get something,
How many of the set pieces have we scored now? They said something. Was it how many is it we've scored
33.
now?
33.
33.
Yeah.
And 20. Liverpool are on 20 in that.
And we got three this season, so 50% of our goals have come off set pieces. So
part of the game.
Yeah. Well, I guess
it is all part of the game, but
it's actually probably 4 because I think the PKs are considered a set piece as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So so four of our goals came off of basically a set piece.
Well, of course, it's something that our rivals like to seize upon, that we only score goals through set pieces. We'll hear some of that probably on Sunday as well.
They might be spicy about it, but I bet they wish that they could.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think they're going to training. They go, right, remember, we don't do any set pieces. So try and bash them wide, try and kick the ball over. You know what I mean? They want to score from a set piece, but they can't.
It's 100 sit-ups, 100 press-ups if you score from a set piece. No, they're not saying that at all. You know what I mean? It's something we'll build up to this Liverpool game, this huge Liverpool game that's coming up. Another trip up north to Anfield on Sunday. Well, let's linger a little bit. Alonso, Gyökeres in the 15 minute has a chance that Declan Rice and disrupts the ball. The ball breaks to Gyökeres. Of course, he swings a leg at it. It's wide, Alonso. So.
Yeah, I mean, he shanks it, but looking at the angle, it was probably impossible to do that with that kind of placement on the ball and the way his foot was. But he did try. I mean, eventually he'll get it right. But yeah, I mean, it was just a hard shot on goal. I mean, if he scored from there, it would have been pretty awesome, and probably would have been on ESPN top plays of the week, top plays of the day, whatever. Yeah. But hey, he tried, and I think that in every given day, or the ball placement would have been better. He probably would have scored. But I think at that point, you're asking for too much from that angle, and the shot was just weird, right? It was unexpected. I think that could also been an issue, but he tried, and you'll find out why later on.
If you're being a perfectionist, then the analysts will say, "Well, just stop it with your left foot and pivot and swing on your right foot and put it in the corner. It's easy, right? But these things will come to him in the course of the season. Of course, rival fans snipping that up and putting it up on social media about trying to make the comparison that we have another Darwin Núñez maybe in the ranks, but Gyökeres would go on to score 2 goals today and put that firmly to bed. Gary, what were your thoughts on that chance of 15 minutes? I mean, who's it mentions, either you or Stan has mentioned that we're one of the best teams out of possession? Might have been Stan, yeah. We're one of the best teams out of possession, and we saw good things, Gary, on Saturday about transitional fast football and the goals.
I mean, that's when we're high pressing like that, right? We get that ball back really quickly. I mean, we put ourselves in some good scoring positions a lot. So, yeah, I mean, that's the one thing that Erdegaard does for us. when he puts that press on, and then when you got Havertz along with him, for us and that is probably our best, our best pressers of the ball. Those two when they're on the pitch. So the fact that we were able to do that without them says that what we've got footballers as well. So we put a little pressure on them. They coughed the ball up, and we were almost able to get. I don't. Initially, I thought They all said he had. Did he have enough time? And I don't know if he had enough
Yeah.
time because you look at it in different angles. Like I don't think he even gets to that ball because it's not like it was kicked to him
Mhm.
in a perfect situation.
Yeah.
He's spinning around like. Even if he slowed down, the ball's probably by him if he tries to slow down. I think he goes as quick as he can, but no, I think people said we're going to have to change. Well, we're going to have to change because we got a striker now. We've never played with one in like 4 years. So no matter
Yeah.
what we do, it's gonna look different. And I'd rather have the goals than the turnovers with no product behind them. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's the thing that you saw how we scored goals. I mean, later on in the game, the long pass to him from Calafiori, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I think we'll change for the better. And then if we do press, then it should be lights out if we press and we get people in the wrong spots. So yeah, yeah, no, like I said, I think it's going to just take time for us to click, and we don't have to be perfect just yet. All
Yeah.
right, we got enough time to get ready,
Sunday.
get going. Because once we get into those midweek games, that's when you're going to want everything to be clicking, and you just plug and play with who's ready to go and who's not. We're not there yet. We can just figure out what to do now. This will be our toughest game probably for the next couple of months. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
know, and if we come up with a point or three, we'll be all the better for it. So yeah.
Yeah. Just seize upon that transitional point there, Stan, as well. We're really good off the ball, and we're going to get these situations now that other Arsenal fans wondered we would be able to get because our passages of play had been too slow in the past last season.
Just talking about the miss by Gyökeres. I mean, at that point, he hadn't opened his account yet for Arsenal,
Yeah.
and maybe if that chance had come later on in the game after he'd scored, maybe he would have been a little bit more relaxed and been able to do more of it, right? And I would imagine that when he got his first goal, there was a feeling of everything just draining away a little bit. The tension and feeling good. He had a nice little celebration, didn't he?
Mm.
He added a little bit on with the hair flick and what people had been saying, and he smiled about it. So
Hair flick.
I kind of like that reaction that he's able to lean in to what's being said, and it gave him enough confidence that unlike other players, when it was time to take a penalty, he didn't shirk away from that responsibility. He was up, ready to take a penalty, and he almost took the back of the net off with it as well. So I just wonder now that he's had a couple of goals now under his belt that he's going to be a little bit more relaxed and feel a little bit more part of things, and is probably eager to get the ball in the back of the net again.
Yeah. A home debut for the player, for a new striker. Home debut, second game of the season, and grabbing a brace as well, which we'll talk
Love
about.
a brace.
Yeah, love a brace. And if he had that first goal, as you said, in hand from the Calafiori pass, and then this chance came to him after that, confidence levels a little bit higher. Who knows what could have happened? The penalty could have been for a hat trick, indeed. But um, Alonso, it would be in the 33rd minute, as Gary alluded to. We had the opening 30 minutes of dominance. You're always feeling then, Alonso, you need to get that first goal under your belt and get off and running. A Rice corner earned by Calafiori's insistence, really, and Timber heads it in. Uh, Leeds not able to deal with our physical presence in the penalty box, Alonso.
Yeah, and the goal scorer was Timber of all people, and Timber's not the most tallest guy like Gabriel and or Silva are, so to get his head on the ball was pretty spectacular in the sense that he he just waited for it, man. It just came to him, and you know, I don't know about you guys, but I kind of when I root for a guy like Timber. So his first year with Arsenal, he missed all the year just about. And to see him come about the way he has, we've been talking about a guy who's probably one best one-on-one defender in the Premier League.
Mhm.
Um, but we're Arsenal is so good defensively that we're able to get these clean sheets but also score goals. And I think that's one of our strengths is that our back four have a net for scoring goals, whether it be set piece or an open play. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy with Timber. I'm happy that we scored other set piece, and who cares what rival fans think? I think that it's pretty spectacular that Arsenal are able to score from a set piece, game in and game out, or at least have that capability of doing so.
Yeah, you can imagine. You can imagine that, right? All right, listen, rival fans. I enjoy bantering them a little bit because you can imagine they're sitting at home in their armchairs. Oh no, not another set piece goal from Arsenal. And each and every one is like death by a thousand cuts. You know what I mean? So it's another cut. Hopefully, Arsenal have 1,000 goals this season. Gary,
Yeah,
is
I mean,
yeah,
sorry. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I really get excited whenever the players line up for a corner kick because we know the probability of it going in are very high. So that's how confident I am as an Arsenal supporter that we've made these set pieces really well. But,
yeah. Listen, you must an average I think is 10 or 12 corners a game, and if you get one goal from those 10 opportunities, then it's about 8 to 10% that you're clicking at each and every time. So 1 in 10 of every corners we're going to take is going to go in.
I hope we
Gary,
get. I just gonna say, I hope we
yeah,
get to this stage where rival fans are saying, "Bloody hell, not another Rice free kick, brilliant." That means we're
not
doing.
another right free
You know,
kick, not
every
another
time, every time they point
Joker
out
penalty.
something like the corners that we score, for me, it's like we're able to use all of the tools in our bag.
But
Teams
look,
are like, oh
look,
no, they've got a corner. This is going to be dangerous for us, right? We've got them worried because we're so proficient at it. If you've got a player that can score their free kicks every time we get a free kick just outside the box or whatever, again, it's going to put the fear of life to them. So it's a good thing that that's what they take the piss out of us
yeah, and look,
about doing the good things.
a corner is not just about lumping it into the area. You have to have precision. You have to have height. You have to have pace on the ball. It has to land in a certain area. And you're talking about what 50 yards or whatever it is. I'm not quite sure. 40 yards maybe from the corner flag to the center of the goal, and that is an art in of itself. And they wish that they could do it just the same as we can. Gary, you lamented Timbers' loss in the last season or two that Alonso alluded to. 45 minutes, we knew he was pretty good, even after 45 minutes and a Community Shield appearance. Um, Timber, what a player Timber is, and now he's starting to weigh in with some goals as well. You know what I mean?
Yep. And so hi to biggest gunner Hawkwind and Target Gunner. Welcome to the show. Yeah, no, that preseason when he came, everybody said he plays on the left side, and then all of a sudden he's playing on the right. Sorry, yeah, he's playing on the right side.
That's right.
I think he coming in as a right-sided defender, and next thing you know, he's got to play on the left side because we started season with injuries. And you know what? He doesn't miss a beat. All right, he doesn't miss a beat. We're like, all right, we got a left back now. So there you go. So I think that's the recruitment has been good defensively. I'll say that about the way we are. We
Oh yeah.
defensively find players that can play football on the defensive side, no problem. Put them anywhere they play. So yeah, and the fact that he's scoring is kind of what Arteta does with his defenders. It seems. Yeah, they can defend well, but then they also score timely goals, right, when you need it. I mean, that's what our defense does. So not only do they stop goals, but then they put them in as well. So you see it from like they all score. Like think about what defender doesn't score.
Think about an outfield player who doesn't score. You can't really think of one. Maybe Zubimendi. He'll probably get a goal or two by the end of the season as well. You know, Saliba, Gabriel,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
can all weigh in.
I wonder how many goals we scored last season with our defenders. I might look that up at some point, and I'm interested to
Remember
see.
Saliba had that strike. Remember?
That's right. He had
And
a
we know
couple.
Ben White. If Ben White was healthy, he probably would have had more. I don't know if he scored because he was out for a bit. But you know, Gabriel scores. I don't think did Timber score last year? I don't remember.
He scored once.
He did against United.
He did.
Okay, and Calafiori he scored against City.
Yeah.
So I
He's
think
our
they
shot.
all score. They all score.
Mhm.
That's the nice thing about it. So we get
I'm
goals
going to
from.
look it up. I'd like to
this is-
know, and
yeah.
I'm interested to know at the
Yeah.
end of this season, when we look
Yeah.
at the results, how many we get from defence. Because,
Yeah.
you know, we got our main man, Gabriel Magalhaes. He knows where the goal is. I mean,
Yeah.
to have I keep saying it, to have the defender that has scored the most goals in the Premier League from
Mhm.
centre-back or defensive position since he's been in the country is fantastic.
Yeah,
Well,
I
it's
can
worth his
tell
weight.
you who didn't score a goal who plays defense for us because that number is really short.
Kivior, he got a goal, right?
Kivior.
He scored. Yeah.
Tomiyasu and Zinchenko are the only two defenders that did not score.
It's hard for Tomiyasu to score goals if he's not.
Yeah,
Well,
he played for 7 minutes, so you know I don't.
To
He
be
got a goal.
fair,
She got a goal in him 7 minutes.
to be fair, he did score against Everton the last game before that.
Yeah,
He scored against
Oh,
Everton the last game of the season.
yeah.
This
No,
part,
you know what?
this is-
Ben White. Yeah, Ben White didn't score because of course he got injured, but everybody else scored. You know, Partey had 4 goals. Gabriel had 3. Then you've got Saliba with 2, and then everybody else had 1. That's Tierney.
Yeah.
Tierney even scored.
Yeah,
Think about it.
Tierney, that's right.
Tierney scored.
Good goal.
Yeah.
I remember that.
His
Timbers, Kelly,
his last game.
and Kiwior.
Yeah, I remember that. That's right. His last
Against
game.
Southampton. He was
That was
delighted.
special.
So yeah, no,
Kieran Tierney, we love him. He was delighted to score that goal at the end of the season as well. Shout out.
and the percentage doesn't even like you look at our attack, like the forward position, like just straight forwards, not like any kind of anybody can play out wide, but just the straight forwards that they listed here. Only 50% of them scored. You know, so I don't know how they list that, but yeah.
Shout out to a couple of new faces here. Sean has joined us.
Hello.
Big up the panel, big up the chat.
Hello,
And
Sean.
big up yourself, Sean. Thank you. You found a nice community of Arsenal fans.
I just asked Sean, where are you from? I'm looking at your surname.
Yeah, yeah,
Has a Scandinavian or a Dutch feel about it.
yeah.
The way with the B and the J. So where are you from?
Thank goodness we didn't sign Sesko.
You get to that.
We'll get to that. We'll stick around, Sean. Stick arond. Dick Insider as well. Good morning, new subscriber,
Jesus Christ, man.
Mr. Dickens. Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, welcome.
You got
It's a new name.
why did you repeat it after you got caught?
Mr. Dickens. I didn't get caught. I just played along with it.
I wonder if that's the actual brand of cider and he's like doing marketing. Like there is Dickens.
I hope not. I don't want any of that kind of cider. All right.
We'll call him Mr. Cider. from now on.
Jesus.
Something about
Hey,
that
it's not-
cider.
it's not-
Something about that cider smells a little fishy. If you know what I mean.
Avatar name, your name aside, as long as you keep it nice and respectful, you can stick around. You know what I mean? Mr. BX Gunner is in the house. The mod, the resident mod, is in the house. So yeah, thanks for being here. I just played along with it, Gary. You know that, right? Born in LA, with Japanese mother, Norwegian father.
Scandinavian.
Buckle Bonsai.
Welcome, Sean. You're on the same time zone as Mr. Stan up there, right? Probably out west was where you're at. Yeah, Yuri and Timber. Anything you want to weigh in? I don't know if I got to you on that one, Stan. Yuri and Timber. The other thing that strikes me as well, we could have 20 clean sheets this season in the Premier League, and then there's 18 other fixtures where we could concede a decently low amount of goals. And people, I'm going to be the first one to say it, right? Maybe somebody else has said it. Chelsea's record of the lowest amount of goals conceded at 16. Maybe it's slightly unrealistic, But hey, why not aim for that?
Yeah, well, I think with the keeper that we have and the defence that we have, we are the, in current times, in the current seasons, we are the best defensive team. So it's always for me been about if we could just add that firepower to that base of a solid defence, we're laughing, and it looks like we could have addressed that now. But Yuri Timber getting 2 goals, I mean, I think it's the way that we set up. We get our players into places where they have an opportunity to score, and lucky enough for us, they're pretty good at it.
Yeah.
Two goals from Yuri Timber playing as a fullback. I mean, you don't see that often, do you?
No.
Fullbacks
No.
are scoring. They're carrying the. I mean, there isn't a player in the squad. Sometimes you look at some squads and you think, well, yeah, they've got that player there. He's good at doing this. He's good at doing that. But you don't really look for them to score goals. But in our team, I go through everybody, and they've all got goals in them.
Yeah.
They've all got goals in
Now,
them. Even our
you're
deep
talking
players.
about goals. So you're talking about goals, but BX Gunner asks who's going to get the most assists, and if we are corner kick and free kick specialists, would Declan Rice be up there high on the list from the corner kicks?
Well, you'd think it would be Odegaard, right? You'd think that because of the position that he's supposed to play, that he would get the most assists. And then I would maybe say after Odegaard, just looking at it sort of tactically, the wide players coming into the box and maybe threading the needle to somebody in the box, hopefully Gyökeres. And then after that, after those positions, then I go to probably Declan Rice.
Yeah. Well, then this leads us talking about assists. Leads us on nicely. Yeah. Welcome, Miss Melina, to the podcast as well. Sean says backline of Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, and Hincape going to be elite if we get him in the door. Hincape, I don't know if he's in the door yet. I mean, Kivior's moving is contingent upon this player coming in as well. Reece James, Esquire. The other thing is, I think Eze would be a good shout for free kicks and maybe the assists as well, the highest assists within the league. But you're talking about assists. Yuri Timber scores the first goal, and he also assists the second goal. I'll stay with you, Stan, then I'll go around the house. So a really, really quick transition. Declan Rice, I believe, breaks it up. Comes to Zubimendi passes to Timber, and in one action, Timber releases Saka in the inside right channel.
Very cute angle as well from where he scored it from. Got it right in the roof of the net, and even if the goalkeeper was on the step ladder, he probably would have had difficulty getting his hand to that. He really put it in that place where it's really difficult to get to. And we've seen him score goals like that before. That's not the first time he scored that kind of a goal, right?
Yeah.
He's very, very good at that. And it was good. It was good to see that, and because I'm pretty sure that everybody else like me saw that and was like, "Oh, he's back!" Lovely, he's back. And then, he goes off injured, which kind of like put a dampener on it. But a very good goal.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's something we have to talk about, these injuries as well. To when we wrap up this game. Yeah, as you said, Alonso, as Stan said, Bukayo Saka scored this goal before. It just misses the shoulder of the goalkeeper, almost takes the head off the goalkeeper with the power in it, and finds the top netting of that left hand side goal. We have a 2-0 lead going in at halftime, Alonso, with a little bit of breathing space.
Yeah, and he kicks off his right foot, I believe. It's always good to see players who's scoring off their less dominant leg, and it kind of shows you that Saka is not only fast, but he's with his legs. So to score goals, and those are pretty cool goal. But yeah, I forgot who assisted that. Do you know, Ray? Who assisted that ball?
The assist was from Timber. He was the one who released
Yeah,
Saka.
that's right. Yeah. So I mean, I think we would always talk about how Ben White was very used for soccer as far as overlapping, but it seems like Timber has got locked down to where he could find Saka and pick out a pass for him. But yeah, it was a very nicely taken shot. Never a doubt that Saka would hit those goals. Um, yeah, it's a shame he got hurt, but it's not as bad as we all feared it would have been. So hopefully he'll get rested and ready to go for the next game up until the break. But yeah, it's good now because you have actually backups that can help out in his place. So yeah, we're looking forward to see who steps up on the right hand side of the pitch.
Yeah, as we previewed the Liverpool game. Gary Bukayo Saka, we see a flash of what he can do for us. We know he can do this. Unfortunately, he's going to he's going to sit in the sidelines for about a month due to that injury.
Yeah. And I think the game that we did see that in was the Liverpool game when we went in there not knowing if we're going to get anything out of that game, and we did. So he's got the that's his patented. The goalkeeper's doesn't know where he's going to go near post, far post. Doesn't matter. The ball's it's gone by the time you think about it. So he's done that good. What I did like about that, or maybe it wasn't good, but it just shows where we are. The build up to that whole thing. The
Yep.
ball falls to in Weary, and he turns, doesn't realize he's got a lot of people around him. He's got to get that ball out. He loses it, but then because of our players that track back, Rice tips that ball. It goes to Zubimendi. He gets it out quick to Timber. Bang, 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 goal.
Yep.
From Saka. I mean,
Yep.
that's how quick we can strike, and that's when you don't give up just because you turn the ball over. Right, we get the ball back really quickly in that situation there. Yeah, and Weary will be quicker to get that ball out. As he gets. I think that's the thing. He's playing in these type of situations, and I think he'll learn from it. He still needs to get the ball out quick.
Yeah.
He also needs to keep his head up so he knows where everything is, no matter when he gets the ball, because he needs to be able to find the open man, because they're coming at him. They're always coming at him. So, yeah. Now that was all that. You're like, all right, where is he gonna go? And the goalkeeper has no chance in the world. So, yeah. Now it's good to see Saka like that. I think that's one of the reasons why I think we push him to. I mean, he doesn't need to play 90 minutes for the first half of the season ever again. For the rest of this season, like no 90-minute games ever in 2025.
No set pieces and no 90 minutes.
No 2020. Yeah, in 2025 no 90-minute games
ever and ever again.
I mean, there's no reason to. We're too deep, man. We're too deep, man. And where you can come in and play 30 minutes if you need be. Nelly, if he's still here, can take it. Let his body figure this thing out. Don't push it.
So, two things for all of you here. We talked about this. The possibility of having a Gyökeres on the field would take some of the attention away from Bukayo Saka. So Gyökeres steaming through the center. The defender has to respect that. And so he's not double teamed on Saka with the fullback. And the other thing is, now we seem to be moving the ball faster in these transitional phases where before we would have been playing triangles on the right-hand side. Now we're not playing triangles. We're playing slicing through defenses with a defense splitting pass, not through the middle. It's almost like a through ball from Timber, but into that inside right channel. So any thoughts on that? Are we seeing Bukayo Saka is injured now and will be out for a month, but are we seeing the attention Gyökeres is demanding from defenders?
I just want to say about that, about taking the attention away from Saka. It's not like the injuries he's getting are because of people coming through him and taking him out. It's because he's being overplayed. And like you see, he pulls up, gets these problems, right? And Gary's right. We don't need to play this guy for 90 minutes. We don't. Let him do his thing. And once we look right, we should be able to put the backing in the players that we've brought in to come in and share the load. Otherwise, why?
We should be in a position.
Madueke could be kept happy by not having to start games, but coming off the bench regularly, coming on at about 55 minutes, somewhere around there, 60 minutes, and being, making a contribution. There's no point in playing Saka to 85 minutes and then bringing him on. That's not fair, Madueke, and you've also played Saka for too long. Share the load.
I think where we're at in this, I hate to say process, but where we are in our evolution is we should be winning games comfortably by the 65th minute. We should be 2-0 up and 3-0 up, to where Arteta's now thinking of preserving Saka, preserving even Gyökeres, and when Havertz comes back, Havertz can come on for 20 minutes and be that supplemental forward, preserving Declan Rice, not in the real term of preserving, but preserving their legs. Any thoughts on that one? We should be good enough to be winning 2-3-0 in most games by that stage.
A little presumptuous. You
never know. Bit higher, a little bit hierarchy, a little bit feeling myself.
You never know.
Yeah. Sean has a question. Would you take Timber's twin in this squad? Personally, I think we're sleeping on a solid midfielder. I mean, if we have the ability, the next stage now in the next 3-4 days will be desperately trying to move some of these players out of our squad that we need to move on.
If we do buy him, we should buy him in secret and not tell anyone. And then during games, we could do like the old, like the Bella twins. We could do like a Bella switch where we switch them and no one knows. They still think it's like the one Yuri Timber. We get an extra sub out of it.
Yeah.
Yuri Timber goes, I have to go to the toilet, and he runs down the tunnel, and then his twin brother runs back, and they think it's the same guy. It could work.
It could easily fool a lot of the linesmen in the PGMOL easily. He could solidly rotate with Rice or Zubimendi. So this is something we should be looking into. Sean, he's also a captain and international. But is he as good as Urian? You know what I mean? Nick Fadley's in the house. Welcome, Nick.
Yep.
It's late in the UK.
Yeah, it's late for you. It's probably I'm in the UK in the US, so it's only 9:30 here. So still
shout out to everyone and anyone who ever watches the Thursday Night Forum from the UK. I know it's really early morning and late there. Yep, I would love for them both to be in the squad and win something for us, but also as brothers in the game. How often does that happen? I can't really think of any brother. The Neville brothers, right? I can't think of any other brothers that may be in the same team either. But you wouldn't want to be compared to the Neville brothers. Come on, right? So, Gary, we go in at 2-0 halftime. Mr. Tom's probably resigned to losing, not winning any points on that day last Saturday, and the moment would come for Victor Gyökeres in 3 minutes into the second half, Gary.
Oh yes. I mean, and that, as I said before, that everybody said, you know what, his game may not translate, right? His game will not translate. He want to get the space and time that he needs, and that sequence there where Calafiori gets the ball and just basically first touch pass, and then Gyökeres is all off to the races essentially to track down that ball, and then he splits two defenders and goes near post. I mean, yep, that's exact. People said he got lucky with it. I think I heard somebody say he got lucky with it, but then if you go back and you look at, how he played in Portugal, you can see the exact similar sequence.
The blueprint.
So he's done that before, and it just happens too fast. Defenders can't keep up, and I think he'll take whatever you give him. So they allowed him to continue to move that ball up into the box, and he made the goalkeeper pay. So yeah, now I think he's been working really hard, doing things he probably hasn't had to do before, I believe, and I think that's just what Arteta's asked of all of his players. So the question was, would he be able to do that, but also continue to do the things that he needs to do, which is score goals when he's put in that position, right? I mean, if Saka wanted to be nice, he could have maybe touched that ball off to to Gyökeres and let him tip it in past the goalkeeper if he wanted. I mean, he could have had a hat trick.
Yeah.
He could have had a hat trick. He could have scored 4 goals. If things played out for him. So yeah, just a matter. I think it's for him. It's just a matter of time. They said he needed to. He hasn't really practiced, so he's still working on that. But you see him out there. I think he's out there working really hard, trying to do everything, all the other things on the list except for the scoring, which he knows he's got. So yeah, I think this. We'll see how he does. This is a test, but I think the fact that he's been practicing against Saliba and Gabriel, for the last couple of
The
weeks,
best. Mhm.
Van Dyke will be,
Of Liverpool.
he's probably the best of the defenders he's going to pick, choose, defend, play against. But he's playing
Mhm.
against 2 of the top in the league anyway. So, you know, I think he'll be fine. He won't. I don't think there'll be anything he hasn't seen before when he plays in that game. And I
Yeah.
think he'll be better for it because instead of having just the one center back that can do him, he's got to go against 2. And I think if Arteta's doing anything in practice, is making sure that he knows how to defend when he's got 2 center backs to work against, as
Mhm.
opposed to 1 in most games. So yeah, it should be fun. And you know, if we get the front line, I know we might talk about this, but if there's Eze and Madueke wide of Gyökeres, I'm looking forward to seeing how Liverpool handles that. Take your choice. Are you going to have a guy screaming at you in Madueke, or you're going to have Eze on the other side? Pick your pick. How do you want to, choose choose which way you want to die, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right? Is that
And
right?
that's
So
we can talk about the lineup again on Sunday as well on Sunday tonight, and that probably will be the likely lineup. Just we'll think about that. But Stan, as Gary said, this was made in Lisbon. Um, if you watch a lot of his games, this is it's almost like Mikel Arteta sat down and said, "Gyökeres needs a quick ball in open space down the left hand side. Calafiori, can you do that and take it away, Stan?"
Well, in the 2 times that I'd seen him play for us prior, one being in a friendly match and the first game of the season, I noticed that he seemed to be occupying himself more on the right hand side. And I remember thinking to myself, why is he on the right hand side quite a bit? I thought he would be more central
Mm.
or slightly on the left. And the reason I said that is because when I've watched footage of him when we were linked, you watch all the footage of the goals and that, I noticed a pattern. And the pattern would be that he would get the ball released to him on the left hand side and do exactly the carbon copy of the goal that he scored. It was almost exactly the same, picking the ball up on the left, cutting into the box, getting it onto his favoured foot, and putting a lot of power on his shot. So it was good to see that. It's going to be interesting to see how we continue with him. It's still early days, but good for him. Good for him.
Yeah, and the way he took that ball and didn't try to shoot from the angle, but drove centrally across 2 defenders and another
He
forward who's
scored a lot
trying
of
to
goals
defend.
like that when I used to watch the footage and stuff. He had a similar pattern that was a play that he
Yeah,
likes.
he kind of knows. Alonso Gyökeres knows that if he's driving into the box, defenders can't really put their feet in, can't really tackle him heavily. They're going to give a penalty away, and he did score a lot of penalties in Portugal as well, and there's a reason for it. Probably he was fouled on a lot of the penalties that he took.
Yeah,
So
I mean, and like Gary was saying, that we haven't had a striker like that in like a very long time that could dribble up the pitch and score a goal. But this is my first time seeing Eucharist play. So it was just well done for him. I think he needed that. I think he had proved that he could score to us fans, that he could score not just headers or just close to the box in the box kind of goals, but he could dribble and make things happen for himself. And I think as an Arsenal fan, I was just in awe of the footwork and the dribbling techniques that he has. It was just phenomenal. The way he put that in the back of the net. But yeah, I think you'll see that more of that now. He has confidence to do something worth being great at, and that's going to go to Arsenal. And look, we got that for a long time, killer instinct kind of striker. So I stand and say, this is only the second game, but I think this is a prelude to things to come from him. We have depth now where we could put players in different positions that could score. Um, yeah, very excited about the prospect. I bet that you could risk doing more things with Arsenal. Yeah, and also we haven't even talked about how he's a good passer. So yeah, I think that his ability to dribble inside the box and score a goal is pretty good. Well done.
He'll be a focal point of the attack. That Eze is a player who's going to want to get the ball close to his feet, and I feel like Madueke could be a winger who wants to be slipped in with through balls, and maybe Gyökeres can adapt his game to both players moving
Can I
forward.
just ask, was anyone surprised when they saw the lineup and Martinelli was starting? Wasn't starting and Madueke was? Did you expect that to happen? Or did you think Madueke would come off the bench?
I expected Madueke to start. I don't think Martinelli. We've already seen all he's got to offer. Like nothing's changing. Like I think it's funny they showed a practice picture. It could have just been coincidence, but the difference was ball at feet. Martinelli is looking at the ball. Eze is looking basically up.
There you have it.
so
Picture.
so like there's
50,000
picture
words.
proof. Somebody put it side by side, and you're like, what is going on here? And you look at it, and you're like, yes, one of them is
But
looking.
what you're missing though, Gary, is Martinelli might look down, but he has little mirrors on the end of each of his boots, so he can.
I mean, we hope
That's what you missed it. That's what he's
You know
doing.
what? They didn't. You know what? Yeah, you're right. The angle, I couldn't see. I thought it was something glistening, but I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
Now we
There you
solved
go.
we solved the
It's
problem.
the mirrors.
Wow.
The old boot mirror trick.
Yeah, no, but I think Martinelli just. I don't know what style of football he is if he can't have his head up while he's dribbling down the pitch. You know what I mean? I don't know. I thought that should be a skill set one people would say that a Brazilian would have, right?
Yes.
To be able to dribble with their head up. I think that's supposed to be like.
Mikel Arteta needs to let him train with one of those those plastic neck braces in training, so he can't.
Or a series of rings around the neck, right?
Yeah.
The bear he gets,
And that's
he can take a ring off.
He puts his head down. He gets zapped.
Right.
Okay,
gets
Gabrielle, we need to add another ring.
Gets
We need to add another ring.
Add another ring.
Your head's still down.
Very good.
Because
Very
the
good.
thing is, he's
I like
got the pace, and Madueke's got the pace, but I think Madueke's head is up.
Yeah.
So like, and he probably doesn't track back like a Martinelli does, but the one thing he did, if you remember in that game, Madueke put some pressure on the defender, got the ball off of him, and got called for a foul. Now I assume he'll continue to do that, and once in a while he'll just pick the ball off, and it'd be 1-on-1 with a goalkeeper for him, or he'd be able to tip it to Gyökeres as well. So I think Madueke offers something different. That's it.
Yeah.
Something
Early
different.
signs.
And
I think if Madueke wants to endear himself to Mikel Arteta, as well as doing all of these good things that we look at Martinelli and we complain that he's not doing, the one thing that he also would need to bring that I think Arteta loves about Martinelli is Martinelli's defensive work. Because he's a hard worker. He doesn't like walk around the pitch and go, oh, the ball's not coming to where I want it. He does get stuck in. And I think Mikel Arteta really appreciates that. And if Madueke or whoever it is that gets out that left wing position, if they can replicate that, then you're going to be in with the manager's graces because he seems to love that.
Yeah. Sean said, if our front line is all fit, they're going to be a handful for every team. No more doubling up on Saka when Gyökeres and Eze are also running at you centrally and at the wing as well. So, SB28 is a Liverpool fan. He sees a draw this week. We're coming for 3 points.
We're going to get to
we're
that.
coming for 3 points.
Yeah, we're coming for all three, man.
I mean, I think it's time. I mean, it's been, 2013 since we did this? I think that we have.
We're going there now.
No, we're not going there now. But we've had many years.
Okay. Let's finish this
All
match.
right, I will desist, cease and desist. Right? Isn't that what they say? Will Eze play? Will Eze start on Sunday? These are little teasers.
He should.
I believe Eze
For
will
sure.
start.
Probably, I think he'll start for Odegaard if Odegaard's not completely fit. He'll start in Odegaard's position, which would be a kind of a baptism by fire for Eze, because that's his favourite position anyway. But he's like, yeah, I'll play in the left. I'll play in goal if you want me. I'll play anywhere. So if he's gonna, maybe the gods are aligning and he'll get to start in his favoured position, Madueke on the left, and maybe Wineri on the right.
Interesting. Now we'll get
something like that. Oh, sorry, Madueke on the right. I'm sorry, and Martinelli on the left.
Yeah.
Between Martinelli and Trossard, depending on who's in favour.
I think there'll be three up front.
I forgot Saka was out.
It's weird because
Madueke on the right, Eze in the 10.
Wow, you're right. We could do a few things. Yeah.
It's weird because
and on the left, Martinelli or Trossard. That's going to be it. If Odegaard's not ready.
It's weird because
why rush him back?
Martinelli always seems to play good against Liverpool. I think he scored maybe twice against them. He scored last year, right?
Fair shout. Listen, we are going to park. That's a good shout, Alonso. We're going to park the Leeds chat for now. Alonso, we've been talking about Victor Gyökeres, and this is the perfect segue to another player that we could have gone for instead of Victor Gyökeres, and that name is Sesko and Manchester United. I don't know if you caught up to what's been going on with Manchester United over there, but let's take a moment to talk about what's going on over at Old Trafford, Alonso.
Yeah, we all had this debate on whether who Arsenal should go for. And, Sesko was this young kid. He's got a lot of talent, I'm sure, but he's just too raw to Arsenal to be a part of this side that's already got it figured out. All we needed was a striker. And the debate was, Eucharist or Sesko. And what we've seen out of Eucharist is that he played very well as for Lisbon, but it is for Lisbon. And Sesko was just raw talent from RB Leipzig, and we really didn't know much about him, except that there was a lot of raw talent inside there. However, I think when you resign for a club like Manchester United and the way they want to go about things as far as improving, it just all gone wrong, I think, because they signed him very late. They got Bremo from Brentford. They got Matthias
Cunha.
From Cunha, right, from Wolves.
Yeah.
So to me, Wolves aren't the best team in the league. Brentford were good. Brian Bremo scored 20 goals, I believe, in I don't know how many assists, but he's a playmaker, right? But when you put that system, 3 at the back and 4 in midfield and 2 wingers and a striker, it just isn't working out. And it's you as an Arsenal fan think it's funny, but their supporters aren't quite having it right now. So yeah, I mean Sesko, look, it was a bad deal from the start. If you want a striker that bad, you got Haaland already. So it's just recruitment's been horrible for them. I don't know how many euros they spent on a striker in the past, but it's just mystifying how bad they've been the past 3 years. It seems like.
I think I thought somebody said it was like $1 billion when you add up all the money they put into their forwards over the years, because they've spent.
That's right. I said that on the last show. Since Alex Ferguson has left, they've spent £1 billion on forwards, and out of all of the forwards that they've bought, only 2 of them have hit 20 goals, not in a season, in the time that they were at the club. Did you see?
Say £1 billion again. 1 billion pounds.
£1 billion. But that's that's where they are with that. So yeah, sorry Gary, go on.
No. I mean, it's. I like what Amarin's doing with that squad. That's all I got to say. I mean, 5 more years of that. I mean, I think he just started out. It started out all wrong, and it hasn't gotten better. Like he probably should have. They probably should have either let him stay, finish off the season or whatever, instead of coming mid-season, just to let him get acclimated to everything that he needed to, as opposed to come into, the show that is Manchester United, and then, like you would think based on the players that they brought in that they shouldn't have problems scoring goals, right? I mean, both those players, I think, hit 20, if not the high teens last season, right? On what should be worse teams without a Bruno Fernandes behind them, right? You put a Bruno Fernandes behind them, it should open things up for them. Somehow they figured out how to mess that up. They played against us. It looked like it looked promising for them, right? And then they play the backups to a Grimsby team. Not the starters, the backups, the teenagers they brought on, if I recall, and they were down 2. They should have been down 3 if the referees actually even remember the rules, right? Like I think the referee could have overturned that one because he's standing right there. He knows that ball got deflected. He should have been able to say that's a goal. Because they did. I think they did score from it, but that so they could have been 3-0, and that game would have been over. So no, I think what they say, things travel downhill, right? I think that's kind of what's going on there. No matter what they do, it just is not right. They need a total rehaul. It seems once again, and it starts from the top.
Again?
I don't know. It's got to start from the top, right? Everything trickles down, right? You don't want to be down.
If you're taking that car into the garage that many times, just sell it.
That's what I'm saying. You got to sell it.
All the lights are flashing.
Maybe they need to bring somebody new in to manage them from like a new owner, because they're not doing, like, whatever they're doing is not working. It's not working, and they're not getting the right manager for the situation, or they're not supplying him the right players because of the situation. I think they're gonna sell Garnacho, right?
He's gone to Chelsea.
Yeah. So they're selling players, but they're not. They still have problems. They still got I think holding on to Fanage, holding on to the Fridge, all these players that at some point the stink just won't get. They can't get rid of the stink. It's like this, the skunk, and they just keep putting perfume on it. You're like, no, you got to just out of the house. Start over again, revamp, find some new players, and go from there. They're not doing that, so that's why they're paying. That's why it looks. That's why it looks the way it does.
For me, I'm personally happy. We've lived through the Alec Ferguson years when they would win Premier League title after Premier League title in the 90s. We dallied.
I've always said that the sign of a great team is not just being able to win the Premier League, but if you can retain it that next season. You're good if you can win it. You're great if you can retain it, because that's a feat, and they were very good at that.
It became annoying. Arsene Wenger was very, very, very competitive against Manchester United, and that for me was the biggest rivalry that I've lived through. Anyway, in my years as an Arsenal supporter, I really enjoyed those years. The team that we had, there was a rivalry in the late '80s into the '90s with Liverpool, and hopefully it happens again pretty soon. Still unhappy about what Arsenal did, signing off the Premier League title to Liverpool last season. I firmly believe that we got 1 or 2 players. We could have been competitive and took it all the way. But there you go. We're in a title race now as we stand. Stan, anything else on Manchester United, the shit show that's going on there?
I've got quite a bit.
That's good. All right.
Quite a bit, to be fair. First thing I want to address, though, is I've just noticed that Gary's in the Bruno Fernandes camp. I'm still in the Bruno Fernandes camp. I'm still a Fernandes.
Yes.
I'm going to say his name the right way.
I've heard a lot of people saying the Fernandes. but I'm still a Fernandez boy. But there you go. But the thing
See,
with
Fernandez is,
United,
I think, Fernandez is Spanish. That's why.
It's
Yeah.
Uruguay and it's Uruguay.
I would never be able to say Fanage, even though I did just say it.
You're
So,
funny, you're funny, Ray.
Fernandez for me, Gary.
the first thing is though is that I don't understand why Man United would buy Benjamin Sesko in the first place, because as soon as I heard that was happening, I'm like, didn't you try that by buying Rasmus Højlund? You spent a load of money on a sort of like someone who was supposed to be an up and comer.
Target man.
You didn't give them anybody that they could learn their trade from, who's kind of like can do it. You put it all on this kid's shoulders, and it didn't happen. So what's the next move that you do? You go and replicate by doing the same thing. You know, they should have gone out and bought Ollie Watkins. If they wanted to buy a striker, they should have gone out and bought Ollie Watkins. If you want to go and buy Sesko as well, fair enough. But they needed somebody like an Ollie Watkins who plays in the league and can slot in and can give you some goals.
I mean,
not go out and spend 73 million on the same what you did last. You spent 75 million the year before on Højlund. Didn't work.
Stan,
it didn't work.
I'm sure you agree with me. You do not want Isak to go to Liverpool. So if Sesko had not gone to Manchester United, he would be a Magpie right now. He would be a Newcastle player right now. And that would open the door to Isak going to Liverpool.
He's going no matter what. He's going.
He's going, yeah.
I'm hoping.
Newcastle signed a player today. They signed a German player today.
They spent like 60, 70 million euros on him, so they're not buying him to sit on the bench.
I fear that you're right, Gary, but I will stick my fingers in my ears and go la 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 till Monday night. And the transfer window.
But I still have more to say on Man United.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing, right? I never understood why they went down that route of just doing a carbon copy of something that never worked. And if you look at the manager's side and you think, okay, they might sack Ruben Amorim, what do they do next? Where else can they go? They've tried everything. They've brought in serial winners, someone like a Mourinho. They brought in, world-renowned people that have, also had international experiences in the Van Gaals. They've tried giving it to somebody that's been part of the club and has, played at a high level for the club in Ole Solskjaer.
Yeah.
They've tried the European sort of like pull a rabbit out of a hat, like Liverpool have done with Slot, with Erik ten Hag, and now they've done it again with Ruben Amorim. Where do they go from there? And I actually think that if they are thinking if I was looking at this as the ownership of Man United, do you know what I would do? I would get rid of Ruben Amorim and I would hire Sean Dyche. I know it's not glamorous by hiring Sean Dyche, but what that club is missing are certain core values.
He's the new...
do you know what I mean? Like pride, effort, certain core values that you need. And Sean Dyche is the sort of person that can clear out all of the rats and try and bring a little bit of stability. It's like, okay, if we can't win the game, let's not lose the game. Let's try and get, try and get something out of it and build. They'll never do it because it's not glamorous, but that's exactly where they are right now. That's where Man United, big Man United, that is where they are. They're looking for someone like a Sean Dyche, or even, should I say, someone like an Allardyce, but someone that can bring back just some core values of what it means to play for Man United, that you play your heart out. And I think with Ruben Amorim as well, is that his stubbornness to not make any adjustments to that formation is just showing me, and seeing that footage of him sat in the dugout with his magnets in his little fold and all of that, whilst he's playing to a team from the fourth tier, tells me that as much as a nice bloke that he might be interesting to have a pint with, this job at Man United for me is obviously too big for him. It's too big for him. They're having a penalty shootout and he can't stand out there with the players. He sat in the dugout and not looking. I mean, that's not good leadership. And I know that there might be some managers that do that. Fine, but I don't want that kind of Man United. That's what we're talking about. It's all about perspective, right? This is what this guy's like. He sat there in the dugout thinking, right, what can I do to come back against this team from the 4th tier? Do you know what I'm getting at? All right, speak to your coaches and all of that, but to get at the actual, like, you know what I mean? It's just, again, it's perception. It is perception. And I was listening to that game on the radio, right, while I was working, and they didn't just like Grimsby, they didn't just go there and park the bus. They were actually doing things like cheeky backhills and pressing. They knew that beforehand that they could get something out of this game. They were like backheeling the ball against Man United.
Yeah.
They were up for it. And it could have been, it might not even have gone to penalties because they had other opportunities. And then you get to the penalties, and I'm listening to it, right? I thought Sesko had probably been subbed off because, you know, I was taking my headphones off every now and again. When I heard that he was stepping up for the 10th penalty, they've gone around the whole team, and it's now one player followed by the goalkeeper, and that one player, I'm like, they paid 73 odd million for this guy. He's a striker who hasn't opened his account yet for the club. You'd think that he would be the first person to go, like, I need to score a goal. So that tells me that if he was number 10th in line, when they were saying, right, okay, it's going to penalties, and the manager's looking around, he wasn't there. He wasn't there.
Yeah.
And if he was there, and it was the manager that made that decision, that's another, you know, spotlight on why this guy's a little bit inept if he'd done that. But it does make, and if he did do that, all he's done is make Sesko look like a coward, because that's how I come away thinking of it. You've gone there. Do you know what I mean? He was being paraded to Berta like he was like Messi reincarnated for 90 million. You haven't opened your account yet. And when it comes to taking a penalty against a team in the 4th tier, 3 divisions below you, against a goalkeeper 3 divisions below you, you're hoping, if I go like right last, I might not even have to take one because it'd be on somebody else. That's his thinking.
Yeah.
That's a coward for me. And I don't like that. And I also understand that, do you remember when we tried to go in for him before? I think it was like the January or something like that before. And he was like, no, I'm staying here. Apparently, one of the reasons that he said was that he could like take Havertz's place. Again, what kind of thinking is that? Havertz ain't even a proper striker, mate. You should have been all over it. So I'm kind of like, I'm no psychiatrist and that, but I'm looking at all of this and that, and I'm just like, another bullet dodged. Another Mudryk. Yeah. Another Mudryk. That's what I'm thinking. Another Mudryk.
You made the right choice.
But that's my theory on United. The best thing that they could do is bring in someone like a Sean Dyche, who is available. I know it's not glamorous, but they've tried everything else.
They need somebody.
Every kind of profile you can think of, and it ain't worked. It's time to go back to basics.
They need somebody. They need someone who can hold them into the top half of the Premier League.
Look at Thomas Frank at Tottenham, right? He's had a few games at Tottenham, right? Thomas Frank. He's only had a few games. Yeah. And you can already look at Tottenham and go, you can see a different style of what they're doing there. Do you know what I'm getting at? You can see, okay, this isn't what Andrew's doing, and yet you've had Ruben Amorim coming up for a year, and you still can't work it out. You're still like, I don't see what's happening here.
It's the players.
Yeah, but they've changed all the players. But they've changed all the players, didn't they?
It's the identification of the players.
And as for Bruno Fernandes, did you see that when he was taking the penalty and then he made a big deal about the referee just having to nudge into him? I mean, I'm not surprised that when the ref nudged into him that he didn't go down on the floor holding his face, crying. And wanting, you know what I mean, wanting a second penalty. I mean, it's just ridiculous. He's not a captain. He's not captain material for me. He spends too much time whining. And then you look at the penalties. The other week it was Bayendia, who was terrible. Terrible goalkeeping, right? When we were, terrible goalkeeper when we were playing against them. Shaky. Yeah. And you got Onana, who's catching the ball with both hands, and it's still going in the net. How does that happen unless your wrists are made out of lettuce? You're catching the ball with 2 hands, and it's still going into the net. And meanwhile, you've got a third keeper called Tom Heaton. He's probably better than both of them, and he's not even getting a shout. He's not even getting a shout. So people saying that Ruben Amorim is probably going to quit after the Burnley game, but it is in football. If you quit, that's it. If you just hang it out and get fired, you walk away with bags, man, big bags. So I don't know what's going to happen there, but
I don't often agree with Gary, but
it's good to see it.
In this situation, long may it continue. I don't often agree with Gary, but long may it continue at Manchester United.
Do you remember they brought in that guy who was like a sporting director, Jason Wilcox?
Yeah.
And then it was like, even like 6 months later, they fired him and paid him off loads of money. And apparently that was because he wanted to bring in Gareth Southgate as the manager, and everybody else was more on Eric Ten Hag.
That is a poorly run club over there.
It's very bad.
Alonso, I'm going to go to you. Compare and contrast everything Stan has said about Sesko, and contrast that to Gyökeres, the player we actually did go for and sign. Gyökeres is not afraid to take the responsibility of a penalty.
Yeah, like I said before, it kind of shows you that Gyökeres has a lot of years on him to where he knows what to do with the ball. He can manage to take penalties, where Sesko was just out of space. It kind of shows you that he's still young and he's not as commanding as Gyökeres is. And like I said, like he's got raw talent. So, at this time, United are just taking a risk from signing Sesko. And to be honest, they don't have time to waste on a project. At least that's how I see it. I really don't keep up with United, so I don't really know what they're up against or what they have in plans for him. But I think you're going to buy someone that's young as him, and do so, Hoyland, who to me has more of a finished product than Sesko. Then you're taking a big gamble of investing big time in Sesko. And to be fair, I'm sure Hoyland wanted to start as well, because I think he was ready and this was his time. So I think they're just being too risky, and it's evident from the past 10 years. They really haven't had a striker. So again, I don't see Sesko that long. Not that it's his fault, but I think it's the recruitment, it's a manager, it's information. Yeah, Luke Shaw is even still there. So, it kind of tells you the crap shit that's there, currently. And, at some point, you got to look at the ownership as well. As I'm sure they want to be ambitious at some point, but they're not in it right now. So I think they're more currently involved with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers than they are at United. And that's a shame because their fans, to me, if I were a Manchester United fan, I would think that they deserve better, I guess. But of course, being an Arsenal fan, I'm enjoying the downfall.
Can I just say before Gary, just one other thing? The two other players that they bought, Embuemo and Cunha, before they went to United and was at their previous clubs, they looked like good players and that. But I've seen them playing for United, and they don't. I mean, they look totally different again. Not as good. I mean, Cunha, a couple of things, and then just decides to disappear out of games. And it's like the only reason a football player, even if you supported them and you played for another team, the only reason you go to Man United now as a player is because of the wages. What other incentive is there? Seriously, what other incentive is there?
The heritage, the badge, that's what they go for. To play
not if you're finishing 16th in the league and you're getting hammered. You're getting hammered by a team in the 4th tier. I'm sorry. The only reason you're going there, right? Yeah. Ruben Amorim said a couple of weeks ago after our game that he thinks that he can beat any team in the league. Just that he can't beat any team in the leagues below this one is the problem. From what I can see. What a horrible soundbite to be that arrogant to say that. And then the next game at Fulham, you get a draw. And the game after that, it's a team in the 4th tier. And you go out on penalties, being 2-0 down.
and
That
Stan.
it's just so bad. It is so
Apparently.
bad, and I'm here for it.
Apparently, Stan
And then
Garrett
they do things like they sell
there's-
McTominay. Look what McTominay's done since he's left. He's won the Scudetto.
Yeah.
They sell McTominay,
Yeah.
and they sold
They-
Alanga. I never understood why they sold Alanga as well. Sorry,
Apparently,
Gary.
there is a Manchester United fan out there who said he will not cut his hair
Seen him.
until they win 5 games. Now, winning 5 games is very difficult to do.
His afro
Winning
is
5
bigger than
in a row.
Angela Davis's, man. It's massive. You've seen him. At the end of this season, he's going to like cousin It off of the Addams Family. Do you remember that? This is like hair with the glasses.
Yeah, Gary. The only thing I feel bad for is the memes about Brian and Mbeumo. Those shirts over there at Manchester United are pretty tight compared to the Brentford shirts he wore last season, Gary.
Yeah, it's weird because like I always thought of him as a stocky guy, anyways. But then you see that in memes, you're like, man, these guys are doing you dirty, man. They don't like you. You guys a lot of haters out there.
It's the jersey he wears.
If he puts the ball in the net,
Or the pies.
nobody would care. But he's not putting the ball in the net, so they have no choice but to just go at him. So yeah, and what is it?
Taking kidney
Yeah,
pies and
as Sean says there, like their confidence is
That's
low,
right. They
man.
both missed their penalties.
Yeah, their confidence is low, and
Mbeumo missed penalty.
like I said, they are missing one, maybe a leader that will be who can overcome Amarin. People will jump on the back along with that leader, or they're missing a manager who can actually lead, or an ownership that could do figure out everything that needs to be done. So yeah, no, they're actually, you know what, screw it, they're fine.
Yeah,
they are fine.
Once again,
keep it as it
This
is.
thing-
Keep it as it is.
wow.
Don't touch nothing.
I'm agreeing with
Leave it
Gary.
there. It's like one of those Jenga towers. Don't touch it. Just leave it. Keep it
I
wobbling.
think we should talk about Manchester United every Thursday night because I would agree with Gary.
You know how this is going to end as well, right? I'll tell you how this ends.
Yeah.
This ends with the people that are above the manager. What's his name? Cat Weasel. Cat Weasel puts
Ratcliffe.
money in.
The
Yeah, I call him Cat Weasel. Him and his little posse. They will talk to the players, right? That's what happens. There's going to be an international break. They're going to have a chat, and they will talk to the players. And this is what the players will tell them: we don't believe in this formation or these tactics. And that's where the players will go, because the players will want to save their skin. It's not that I'm a shit player. It's just that I'm a shit player in this fucking stupid formation, which this manager refuses to change. And we've all tried to talk to him about it, but he won't do it. He's even come out, and that's what's going to happen. Because the manager, he's going to die on that hill. He has said, come hell or high water, this is how we play. They must be the easiest team to play against, because if you know how that system is, surely you know how to get around it, because you know they're not doing nothing else. He is not. I mean, again, it's so naive, and maybe that works in Portugal, but it's not working in this.
I really wish
it's not working.
Yeah, I really wish Tony.
Surely you would set your team up and say, okay, I want to do this, but it hasn't been working. So, do you know what I mean? You try to put players in the positions that you've got where they will work. You try something, but he's not. He's not doing it, and it's just so. And I'll guarantee you that that's what the players will use as their out, because they want to keep their jobs and their high wages, right? And they're going to be like, we can't work under this, man. This is not working. It's crap. We've tried to talk to him. He's stubborn. You've heard him on the TV. He said he's not changing it. And then they're going to go, right, we can't get rid of all of them, so we're going to have to get rid of this guy.
That's the way it goes.
That's what's going to happen. That's how it plays out.
If the
players win.
If the club does not do right by bringing in the right kind of clubs or players and identifying the right kind of players, then the manager's head will be gone. I wish Tony was with us tonight, because Tony is a champion of wingbacks, and that's what Ruben Amarin plays with, wingbacks. And
Mason Mount as a wingback.
They're selling. They're selling all of their wingers. Garnacho's gone to Chelsea today. United.
And it's weird, right? If you're Sesko, you're coming in as a 70. I'm a striker, and in those first couple of games, he played Cunha in that position. Okay, maybe you want to bed me in, but why wasn't Højlund starting then? Why wasn't they actually playing a striker? Do you know what I mean? For me, it's like, am I that bad that you're going to play this geezer out of position over me that plays in that position? Then it's just ridiculous.
Sean said United fans are also deluding themselves too when one of the goats of the game and the legend of their club literally came out and said the club is an absolute mess. Cristiano Ronaldo knew it would get worse, and so listen, we'll move on to Manchester United. I think we've had enough of humor, had enough of humor and levity aimed at Manchester United. Yeah, we know you meant United there,
I tell you how bad I
Sean,
think
as
it
well.
is. They're not coming back in our lifetime. When they ever do come back, all of us will be dead and gone. That's how long it's going to take.
But look,
They ain't coming back next week.
Liverpool were in the wilderness for 30 years without winning the Premier League. So they did win things in the interim. They'll be quite quick to tell us about that. They've won cup competitions in the past as well, and it's one we'd like to get on our shirt as well, one of those trophies. But let's finish up.
Yeah, man.
Urian Timber gets his second goal, a brace in the second half, a toe poke, a little bit of a scrambly goal, but they all count at the end of the day, and we're
Love
happy.
it.
We're happy for him. Stan lamented the lack of braces last season. Well,
Do you remember that?
you got two in one game now, Stan. You know.
I know. I messaged you. I went with the first one with Gyökeres. I just sent brace, and then Timber. I'm like double brace. I mean, this is brilliant. This is what you want to see.
Yeah.
We had too many times where there were players, even the forwards, where and in the next few games they wouldn't. Then they'd score again, maybe score in the game after. Then there's a patch. Where are the braces? Where are the hat tricks? Where are the And I'm seeing it now. And for someone like, as we discussed earlier about how good our defence is, to have defenders, and it's obviously our tactics, the way that we like to fan out in that attack. We have the players in the right places, and if they're willing to take those shots, it's brilliant. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Set pieces will be an edge for us on Sunday. Alonso Timber gets that second goal, a toe poke. The ball, for me, I thought they were going to chalk it off because the ball comes down, appears to go along Saliba's arm.
Yeah, that look.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've mastered the corner kicks, and I think Aaron Timber had a go for goal. I think that he's been impressive as far as getting involved more. I think Calafiore got the assist on that. But yeah, I think once a defender and or a player hit a first goal, they always want to get more. And fair play to him. He's in the right spot, right place, right time. And he went for it. I think, like you said, right there was a scramble there with amongst defenders and the Arsenal player trying to get the ball out, trying to score the goal. So it fell into Timber's hands. So yeah, I think when you have a mixture of midfielders and attacking players score goals, I think defenders want to get in the mix too, whichever way they can. So yeah, I think you guys mentioned goal scoring records and who scored most goals and all that, but I think this year more so than not, you're going to see multiple players from the back line scoring goals. I think that's how much Arsenal have prided themselves on set piece machines, as they say. And I think credit also goes to Declan Rice, taking free kicks, corner kicks, being more aggressive as trying to make things happen from the corner kicks as well. So, yeah, I think right now all teams are gelling. Hopefully we'll get a couple in at Anfield. Yeah, very inspiring stuff from Urian Timber.
Mm-hmm. BX going to say the Joker's goal and run is impressive because it shows he's going to score a bunch of goals that way. Sean weighs in with, here we go. This is one we all want. Personally, I would like for us to win the UEFA Champions League only because I can't stand the European heritage nonsense. And sometimes we're not allowed to sit at that table. And Champions Europe song anymore. UCL and League double would be nice, though. We mentioned that.
Sean, we've had many conversations on this channel about not being able to sit at that table, haven't we? That's the table that we all want to sit at. It's like winning that green blazer when you play the golf, the Masters. It's we want to get into that conversation.
Yeah. Listen, I'll give Gary some airtime as well here. Gary will be leaving us shortly. Chris Kavanagh is the referee for Sunday. And yeah, Gary, I mean, Arsenal have sustained the levels that we're at. We talked about Manchester United in the past with Solskjaer, and Chelsea in the past. They've dipped into the top four, but only briefly. And Arsenal have been there, sustained now. We've had some runs in the Champions League. We should be ready now to really, really go for it in the Premier League. Where do you see the state of play right now, Gary? Only 2 games into the season, but uh, what kind of season can we look forward to, Gary?
I don't know, and I think that we've already seen it, right? We had Ben White not be able to start. We've had Erdogan go out. We've had Saka go out, and we won 5-0. So we are, and then only, and on top of that, we brought in Gyökeres, we brought in Madueke, we brought in Eze, right? So we those are 3 attackers. Put them, can play in multiple positions, right? We are set. We asked for depth. I've been calling for depth for years. This is what it looks like, and if we can get one more, I want 2 more attackers. But if we get the one more attacker that we might have on our plate, be all the better for it. If it's a left wing, even better. I mean, I think they're doing. Bird is doing work, or Bird is getting it back in, and I think he's getting it back in because he's got the know-how.
Credentials.
I think that's the problem with the way our Arsenal has worked. They brought in youngsters to do the job, and then they didn't want to back them, until they had some experience.
Yeah.
You bring in an experienced manager, you back them immediately. They didn't trust Unai, and Unai hasn't shown that he's a man that maybe can get trusted, but. They're doing it. Berta is probably is the one person so far I think that should have that credibility and the know-how. So they're doing it, and they're spending lots of spend a lot of money because they can. But I think they're not just taking the first option. All right, just because the first option they didn't want to spend extra money on Shesko. They didn't. We've seen how that looks. I think he'd been fine if he played for us. The problem is if they brought him in, they wouldn't have been able to bring in like a Watkins, which is what I think they needed to do if they brought in Shesko. And then if they had Shesko and if we had Shesko and Havertz is knocked out, we're not laughing anymore. We're crying. He's not ready. We knew that going in. He's not ready. That's a lot of money for a player that's not ready.
Yeah.
Look at Ekitike. Look at him, right? He costs around the same amount of money. You think if he played for Chelsea, for Liverpool, he would look like Shesko would look the same? I don't think so. I don't think he would look like that, right?
Yeah, it would look
Ekitike does look fairly sharp, doesn't he? Looks sharp.
Yeah. So and if Liverpool gets Isak, I think Isak would. There's going to be 2 things. It's going to be the mental aspect of him coming back and the physical, and both of them might trip him up a little bit. He might not. It might take a little while for him to catch up. Luckily for us, we don't have to play them. We don't have to play them. So, yeah.
You think? Listen, I'm gonna stick my neck on the line here and say Isak is going to stay at Newcastle, even despite what I'm seeing happening.
Yeah.
And you think he will go to Liverpool?
I think. Yeah, I'd already thought he's going to go. I think that what's happening there is the same thing that happened to Gyökeres, and I didn't like it when it happened to Gyökeres when he took a pay cut, when he had his agent take a pay cut, and Arsenal was still haggling. I'm like, at some point, you just pay the damn money. At some point, Liverpool just pay the money and move, just get out.
Did he hand in the transfer request, Gary? Did he actually hand in a transfer?
I don't know. I don't think.
Why don't players do that? Isak hasn't done that. Why not? Do you know what I mean? There's like a procedure. Players never do that. They'd rather go on strike. And someone said it's because you lose bonuses and sponsorships.
Because you're probably reneging on your contract when you do that, as opposed to let's make it work.
That's the channel.
Yeah. So, no, like I said, I think he's gone. I just don't know if, I think there might be a little he's already we already think he might have an injury problem anyways. So now he's not even playing, right? It'll be 4 or 5 games before he might be, into the fold and playing again, regardless of if it's Newcastle or not.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
He ain't playing
So
this
even-
Sunday, so another one. Brilliant.
Not playing this Sunday. That's
No.
all we care about, all right? We don't play. We don't have to go to Anfield and play him. Hopefully ever this season.
He'll be
anyway. I
injured
say
by
ever. I mean this season.
next fixture, he'll be injured by then. So.
Well, yeah,
Um,
that's the thing. He's just been sitting there like idle, right? That's why I'm saying there's a little mental. Will he be mentally ready, and then physically will his body be able to?
I think he's back in training,
into
but
the
not
fold.
with the first team. He's doing training. I've
Yeah.
heard.
So not, I think
Running around.
but he's not going. He's not going at the right intensity, right? Even I saw. That's saying no. I think it's like I said, it's a mental thing as much as a physical for him. But I do need to go. Ray, thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Gary.
Stan, Alonzo, it's been great. Everybody in the chat,
Cheers, Gary.
have a good one. And,
Quick prediction, Gary, for Sunday.
I'm going to stick with my 3-1.
Oh
It's
yeah.
going to be 2-1, and instead of us letting them back in the game, we're going to pull away and close
Shit
out.
off.
That's what we need to do. We need to have
Yes.
one of those moments where we
I'm
go
going-
in there and we
I'm
seal
going
it
2-1
with
myself.
a 2-goal lead, and then that it's not close enough that they can get back in the game. So
Chris
you know.
Kavanagh, the referee, doesn't give me a warm and fuzzy feeling.
no
He's-
referee is ever going to give us the benefit of the doubt.
Do they ever?
So we that's just like you know what? Think of
Separate.
it. Think
always
of
play
it
against
as a
Klopp,
flat ball. No matter what you do, you pump it up.
This-
It's going to be flat. So you just got to play.
Yeah.
You have to figure out how to play with it. We have to figure out how to
For hockey.
get by with the referees that are are not going to give it our way. I mean, in the first game of the season, right? We saw how that was played out. I mean, they were booting us all around the pitch. We do the same thing, and they're ready to pull the yellow card out. So you know what? We just have to deal with it. We have to know it's coming and just work around it. Just work around it. We got our set pieces.
Yep.
They haven't really been able to figure out how to take those away from us yet. So I think we'll be all right. But everybody, thank you.
All right,
Have a
Gary.
good night.
Cheers, Gary.
Cheers.
See you, Gary.
Have a
All
good
right,
week,
see ya.
mate.
One other thing I wanted to sneak in while Gary was still here was Eze and the board meeting that we had to bring Eze to Arsenal rather than consign him to a life of misery.
Oh,
Tottenham.
I heard the story is he called just one
Happy
last
here.
time to see if Arteta was okay with him maybe going elsewhere, and then I think once he realized that where he might be going, he
Please
said,
save
Are
me.
you sure there's nothing I can do for you? Make the tea,
Please
do the
save me.
vacuuming. Is there nothing?
I'm-
Are you sure? Set the goals up.
He's an
There's nothing,
Arsenal.
right?
He's
And
an
he goes
Arsenal
like, actually,
boy, and he
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
want to go play.
I like it. I like the
Yeah.
balls.
He didn't want to play for that
Why
long.
not?
So,
Yeah, you know what? He's playing, right? He's balling out, playing with all that going on. That's
Yeah.
the difference between him and a lot of other players. Like,
only
you know,
training.
you know what? You got to be able to back that up. That's why Isak's got to be able to back that up. And like you said, is he actually practicing like he's going to be playing tomorrow? Because if he's not, then all of this was for naught. All of this was just you just
He's
wasted your
playing.
time. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing
He's in.
about
Try and stop him.
yeah. No, but I
Personally-
mean Isak. If Isak really backs
Oh,
himself,
sorry.
he should be killing himself in practice, right? We talk about like the Michael Jordans, they practice by themselves and work out by themselves,
Wow.
like they got somebody pushing them. Right.
He is training. He is training by himself.
But
Bit of an anomaly.
is he going to be ready to like? What are they going to bring him in and go? No, we can't play you because we're going to kill you. That's how it needs to feel when he comes in, as opposed to you need a lot of work.
Yeah.
That's we'll see. We'll see. Everybody, Sean,
All right, Gary.
Tiger and Guna, everybody, have a
Cheers,
good night.
No, I thought Ebereche as they would keep Gary. It had that happy story would keep Gary here a bit longer.
I gotta go.
It happened.
So for me, I think you ever seen those, like the radio, right? And they have like the guy sat on the horse, and before they let it out, it's in like this box, and the horse is packing, and the guy's getting, and then they open the door and let it out. Ebereche, since he signed, has been that horse in the box. He's just like flipping.
Gates.
He just wants to get. He really cannot wait for his
Let
first
him out
game.
of the gate. Let him out of the gate.
It's a dream come. It's a dream come true for him, and I think that even if Martin Odegaard has returned from his shoulder injury, they might not start with him, and it might give Eze an opportunity rather than starting on the left, which he can probably do a good job in, to give him an opportunity to actually start in a position that he really likes, so he can really, do you know what I mean, on his debut.
We don't
We've
want.
definitely got enough players. We've
Yeah.
got enough players to cover the wide areas, right?
Yeah.
Even though Saka's out, we've got the players to cover. So I think that we might see Eze starting more centrally where Odegaard would be, rather than on the wings.
And you know what?
And something else I've got here. Go on.
You know what? And Arsenal fans don't want to see players injured or their captain injured, but we were all thinking, well, we've got the squad now that can compete at Anfield without Odegaard. And in some respects, it could be a different look to what we can put out there, and we might play a little bit better as well out there. Put an Eze
And when you've got
in front of an Odegaard, you might have a physical presence there that's hard to.
and when you've got a player like Dalman, who he's good at winning penalties.
Yeah, and that's
he wins penalties, right? Because of the way that he dribbles with the ball very close to his feet. I think he'd done that in pre-season. I've seen winning penalties. He goes down a lot, not because he dives, but he has the ball so close to his feet, gets into dangerous areas. That's a good weapon.
And that was Joe Linton that pushed it.
And the injuries are bad because we've lost some key players, right? Havertz is very key in what Mikel Arteta wants to do.
Yeah.
Maybe Gyökeres would have had a similar Sesko, the way that they didn't start Sesko straight away at United. Maybe if Havertz was available, Sesko would have been coming off the bench for a couple of games before he started. But the injury to Havertz has meant that Gyökeres, there's been no choice. You have to start, right? And then the injury to Saka, as bad as it is, it allows an opportunity for someone like a Madueke, who, he's probably happy to play on the left, but his favoured position is on the right. Now he gets an opportunity to play in his favoured position.
Yeah, and look.
Do you know what I mean? And it's always nicer to bed in if he can be given. Do you know what I mean? Look at poor Kivior. He had to bed in playing out of position. Yeah, he'd had some games on the left, but he was the left central defender. Yeah. And when the push came to shove and injuries came, and he actually got the opportunity. Before he got that opportunity to cover for Gabriel, he was getting pelters from everyone. Get rid of him, he's no good, he's a disaster. But you played it in his natural position, and hey presto, you see what the guy can do. So this could be good for.
And
the injuries are good, but Madueke gets to play in now in his proper position.
What do you think of that?
Might get the opportunity to start in his position.
Alonso, what do you think of that? I mean, as Stan said, Eze behind Gyökeres, Martinelli on the left.
It allows, and also when you're looking at the substitutions now, because someone like a Madueke is already starting and an Eze starting, now you're looking deeper in the well, and someone like a Wanieri, someone like a Dalman, they're getting substitute appearances where maybe if everybody was fit, they'd be on the bench but might not be used as much. So we're getting some of our Christmas presents early, right?
Yeah.
That we're getting an opportunity to get more and Wanieri, a little bit more Dalman, because
big celebration outside your balcony there. You got a lot of beeping going on.
Oh yeah.
Alonso,
that's just the fans. I know the show's
Alonso, we could be lining up against Liverpool, and Liverpool might find it very difficult to game plan specifically for us, because hardly any of the players might feature in positions that they've already featured against Liverpool. And Madueke on the right, Eze, Gyökeres, Martinelli, maybe.
Yeah, and even Trossard. So you factor all those players in there, and Eze is already proven a Premier League proven player. Talking about Gyökeres scored 2 goals. So I honestly don't think that there's a player that would play on Sunday that is more capable of scoring not 1 but 2 goals. I know Martinelli gets a lot of crap, but he has scored against Liverpool more than once. Yeah. During his time at Arsenal. So he's more capable. Trossard as well. Madueke. I'm hoping that this game, Madueke scores to give the fans an opportunity to see how good he could be. I think the last minute's Leeds, he played better. I think the best is yet to come from Madueke. I think Nawari, I don't know if he's going to start or not, but he'll get probably look at. But yeah, Arteta has the decisions to make on who to start on the bench, or put on the bench rather. And the bench was pretty good as well. I'm talking about Max Dowman had a good appearance on Sunday, last Saturday rather. So he's more than capable of drawing penalties. He's got good pace. He seems like he's very confident.
He's just a child. He's a child. It's
15,
unbelievable.
Right.
16.
He's just a
Amazing.
child, and he's playing for Arsenal. Do you remember what you was doing when you was 15?
He wasn't playing for Arsenal.
I was smoking cigarettes and trying to get someone to buy me cider out of the off license.
Yeah.
And taking Karen behind the bike sheds when I was 15. I was playing for Arsenal at 15.
Our subs bench, as Alonso's alluded to, our subs bench could be Kepa, Mosquera, Kivior, Miles Lewis Skelly, Dowman, Marino, Trossard, Waneri. Not bad, considering.
I think Alonso had a bit more to say there. I cut him off a
Go
little.
ahead, Alonso.
Apologise.
Per usual, right?
Go on,
So
Lonnie.
it's like we now have substitutes and we now have depth that we don't need to worry as much as we did in the past because, like you said, Ray, in the past we struggled to find who would be on our bench because they're either hurt or lack experience, and I think that's why it was important last year to have Miles Lewis come up and play with the the club, and then as well as Neymar. So, I'm confident when they come into the pitch, they know what to do, they know how to follow instructions. They're not afraid to make that put a shot on net. And they played against the big clubs already, like Manchester United, Manchester City, and Liverpool last year. So, yeah, I'm confident without a doubt that the bench, when called upon, can do something, and Trossard as well. So yeah, I'm very confident. Though I expect a big game from Madueke if he comes about, whether it be assist or playmaking, to score goals. So yeah, I can't wait to see Sunday's game and how we match up against them.
It's gonna be a huge midfield battle. Zubimendi, Declan Rice, in there.
Surely Martinelli has had a fire lit under his arse because you think about it, right? It's been the regular pick. Only had Trossard to fight with for that left-hand side. They brought in Madueke, right, who is predominantly played most of his games on the right-hand side, and then all of a sudden Martinelli's on the bench, and this guy that usually plays on the right is now playing in my position on the left. So they prefer this guy. And then you're probably sitting there thinking, shit, man, I'm going to be sitting on the bench for quite some time now, unless this guy fucks up. But then the injuries happen, and now we've got to move some pieces around. And if Martinelli starts on against Liverpool, or even if he doesn't start, he's got a good opportunity to come off the bench now. Surely that lights a fire under your arse. Surely you want to say, right, competition is healthy, right?
Much like
he might have the game of his. He might score a brace. He might have the game of his life and score a brace. He might actually look up.
much like Trossard last season.
So I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Trossard at Aston Villa.
I like this competition.
I like it. Trossard at Aston Villa last season had a similar situation, scored the goal, and the rest of the Arsenal players on the field had to cajole him into smiling, aka celebrating what he done.
It'd be kind of funny if Martinelli starts and scores 4 goals like Arsenal did.
Arsenal, that would be great. That would be great. There's gonna be huge.
So,
yeah, go ahead, Stan.
I was just going to say. So we were just touching on the transfer window, and it's going to be closing soon.
Yep.
And I've got a tweet here that I'm going to read you. That's quite interesting. But do you remember we were talking the other week about when we bought Eze, and I was talking about how what I heard was that Havertz got injured. It wasn't like the trigger point, but Josh was in England, and they sold a case how they wanted to buy Eze. Yeah. And there were some people in the club who were saying about PSR, blah, blah, blah. And Josh said, no, I'm going to go with the manager. Well, listen to this tweet, right, that I got the other day from someone at Malik AFC. And it says, breaking. Arsenal still have £134 million left to spend this summer before reaching their 302 million FFP limit, according to Squawka. The Gunners have already committed 168 million upfront and 7 signings, with an additional 75 million due in instalments. Mm-hmm. So that's what they've done, right? So what we've bought out, so far out of the 7 that we've bought, we've actually committed 168 million. Boom. There you go. And then there's another 75 million that's going to be scattered about over the next couple
Declan
of
Rice. Yeah. Declan
yeah.
Rice final installment. Part of that.
And then it says the financial strength is backed by 3 consecutive second place Premier League finishes, consistent Champions League quarter-final and semi-final appearances, growth
Yep.
in assets and overall revenue. Arsenal head into the closing stages of the transfer window in a very strong financial position. So,
Right.
you know, if that is accurate, and we're hearing about Piero Hincapié, we know that we've heard that Kivior is going out to Porto, and that's just being
Yeah.
finalised. Probably a loan with an obligation to buy, so they know that money's coming. Hincapié is being talked about. Maybe something else is going to happen. A lot of people are saying about a proper left winger. The money's there,
Uh-huh.
so
Yeah. Well, I
there
think
could
I
be
know
some.
who you might.
What I'm saying is that there could be a couple. There could be more than another signing or two coming in before the window shuts.
A Danny Welbeck moment.
And I thought,
Maybe.
we've already got 7, so we could finish the window with 9 players,
The
8 or 9
Magnificent
players.
Seven. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Norgard as well has been injured for a couple of weeks, so he may not feature on in Sunday. Of all of that outlay that we have paid up this summer, we would need to recoup maybe 100 million, 100 million of that. Uh, and so over to Andrea Berta for that. Go and recoup some of that money. Through Kivior will be about 25, 30 million if that move goes. So it's basically a swap between Hincapié and Kivior. The Cronkies won another big trophy for their portfolio. Yeah, I mean, we looked at enviously at all of the other franchises that have won under the Cronkies over the last 5, 6 years. Um, I would have loved Semenyo as well. Also, Sean, the player I've admired, and the player who showed up at Anfield and scored 2 goals as well on the opening weekend. But uh, here we are, Alonso. The Van Dyke. We're going to see a Van Dyke challenge of some contact on Gyökeres on Sunday, and usually it's sort of something that Van Dyke gets away with. Uh, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think the referee will lay the line down pretty well? Usually, what they do in these big games is the referee lets the game go. So there will be some challenges that go unchecked by yellow cards.
Yeah, I mean, I think with Icarus's physicality, that may cause Van Dijk to, you could say, mess up, mistime a challenge, I guess. Um, and Diamond, of course, also have penalties. But that being said, I've always been of opinion that I think that Van Dijk is a bit maybe overrated in the sense that he's good, but I think he's not all that great. I he's had some good defenders around him, like Robertson and Trent Arnold. He's had a good partner ever since Creante and Joe Gomez, what have you. But I think Liverpool get a lot of calls to go their way. Um, so I would not doubt it if, say, Van Dijk does not gets away with all this stuff on Sunday, because of how the refs call the matches. So I think it'd be physical. I just hope that the refs call it the right way. Um, Liverpool, I guess on was it Monday, they got 6 calls going their way. But yeah, I want to hope that Van Dijk gets a red card.
Yeah.
Because it's only right, I guess, that they come and say Arsenal for all the wrongdoings that they did, uh, the VAR or whatever, to go against them. But yeah, I think listen, we gotta push hard against him and make
Yes.
Van Dijk make decisions that he doesn't want to be part of or back out of cards. Yeah, I just can't stand Van Dijk, to be honest.
I know he's a bit of a thug, as Tiger and Gunnar said. Welcome, Tiger and Gunnar. Some great points the chat are making as well. We have players now who Gyökeres can occupy Van Dijk and Konate and can worry both of them with the physicality of a target man. The likes of Eze, Madueke, Dauman, or even Waneri could draw the penalty as well. So it's a very high probability Arsenal could get a penalty on Sunday, Stan, through these players that we have in the forward positions.
I'm actually looking forward to it because I think that you can definitely get at Liverpool's defence. You can. They've got good players in the attack, but their defence is shaky. Do you know what I mean? And you need to. If I was setting up the team, I would set up the team in a way where, rather than that, I would have Gyökeres keeping away from Van Dijk and having the attack set up so that it ends up with Gyökeres more having to deal with Konate.
Yeah.
Target that area of the pitch wherever it is that Konate occupies. Have your attack set up in a way where the ball comes through and Gyökeres is in that area, not in Van Dijk. Because Konate at the moment is all over the show, mate. He is all over the show. And if you look at the game, look at them against Newcastle. They were struggling against 10 men. They really were. They were really, really struggling. Do you know what I mean? And
Gyökeres will operate.
I just think that they can be.
So Stan, Gyökeres operates in that inside left position, and that's Konate's side. So
you focus on that. Focus on that. Keep him away from Van Dijk. If Van Dijk has to get drawn in and cause a foul, that might help. But focus on that side with Konate, because at the moment, all over the show, mate.
We could see a situation.
Shaky.
We could see a situation where Van Dijk has to get drawn over to help Konate, and if Gyökeres can find if Madueke is on the right hand side and he can find Madueke,
the space. If you can cause that space,
Madueke could find himself in some space to get a shot or two away, and maybe Madueke would be a good shout for the first goal, as Alonso mentioned earlier in the stream as well.
And I'm not really seeing anything from Florian Wirtz that makes me think that 130 million was well spent.
Liverpool fans are
they're players have to settle, and you remember it took Bergkamp about 7 games to settle.
Yeah.
So I know Šeško's give players a little bit of time, but you know what I mean. Florian Wirtz doesn't look like a threat.
Yeah.
For me, the threat, when it comes to the goal scoring threat, that front three of Gakpo, Ekitike, and Salah, that's quite potent.
Yeah. But
you can see goals coming from any one of those 3 players.
But
their defense is shaky.
I would actually say it's going to be a big call if he plays Florian Wirtz. He should actually not play Florian Wirtz, and watch for.
How can you not?
Watch for another.
It's a big game. How can you say? I know I've been playing it so far, but I'm taking away out.
It's the biggest game of the season.
Our main rivals.
The biggest game of the season.
Even though, and if I was a board who had sanctioned that 130 million, I'd be like, why are you not playing him?
He's not. He's not the right player for this game.
That's their problem.
If I'm a Liverpool fan and Wirtz is in there, if I'm an Arsenal fan and Wirtz is in there, I'm laughing.
They're not benching him.
I'll be happy, because that'll mean that their midfield is they're going to be pale pitch and water. Pale, what do you call that? Pale and water? I don't know. For most of the game, our midfield.
Or it's our bad luck that this is the game that he comes good.
Yeah, well,
you never know, right?
What we've seen from Florian Wirtz so far is that he has not lit up the Premier League so far. So, and he will,
long may it continue.
He will not start against Arsenal in terms of lighting up the Premier League. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money they put into that player, and
they won't start him at home. You think that they won't start him at home?
Well,
of course they will.
Listen,
Slot has to. He's got no choice.
Yeah.
He's got no choice. He has to start him.
Well,
You can't ask the club to give you 130 million and then all the wages and then put him on the bench at home against a team that you're going up against rivals. Because my first question is, well, why did we? If you don't need this guy, why did we buy him for that amount of money? So he has to make it work. A little bit like us with Kai Havertz, right? We bought Kai Havertz for 65 million, whatever it was, 67 million, somewhere around there. I don't know. But his wages are well over the 200, right?
Yeah.
Around that
Yeah.
200. You got to play him.
and that's what our
You got to
tactic
fit
is.
him in. You got to make it work.
And
Otherwise, the owners are going like,
Yeah.
Why did we do that?
we shall see. We shall see. I think I will. Yeah. Liverpool missing.
I do like Gakpo though.
Liverpool missing Frimpong, so Zabazai is right back. Here's the injury thing they have to cover up, right? Kirkes has looked very poor defensively as well. And when it comes to set pieces, Stan, Kirkes is not at the races when it comes to set pieces. We could definitely dominate set pieces. And if we're able to control the middle of the field, it could be a long day for Liverpool. We control the middle of the pitch. We attack against Virgil van Dijk, Konate. We get free kicks and corners.
When they try and
Happy
pass it
days.
out the back, try and high press, make mistakes because they're not comfortable.
Yeah.
Especially Konate, they fumble. They try to, and it's not hard enough. And if you're ready, you can pounce.
If the intention is
You
to
know what I
have,
mean? That's the sort of thing.
yeah, Sean said if the intention is to have Virgil get drawn out, then we need Eze in the 10. Most likely that will happen. Martinelli should be able to give Zabazai. Yeah, Martinelli against the midfielder. Come on. And Madueke will hurt Kirkes. Man, I'm starting.
Is Odegaard fit? Is he sort of fit and training again? Because even if he is, I know it's a big game, but we should be able to believe in a team where, I know he's the captain, but even if he's fit and he's taking part in training, bring him on off the bench.
We need Gary.
We've just spent 60 million on someone like Eze.
Yeah.
He could be playing that role. Do you know what I mean? We've got
As Gary said, Eze's a player with his head up. Martinelli's a player with his head down. Is Odegaard a player who's looking at his shoulder in those pictures? That's what we need to ask the question. Zubimendi and Rice lock up squirts. Nice one, Sean. And listen, I can convince myself into an Arsenal win here quite easily.
Oh yeah,
overlooking Salah and Ekitike as well, even though we did mention it. My only defensive worry is Salah.
Okay.
There we go. Salah Calafiori matchup. I think Calafiori's physicality, even though he gets caught out of position once in a while, we'll need Gabriel to bail Calafiori out a little bit. But the physicality of Calafiori up against Salah will be very interesting. The thing you don't do, Alonso, the thing you don't do against Salah is jump in and foul him in that area.
Yeah, I mean, look, we all watched Arsenal whenever Zinchenko had the pleasure of having a matchup against Salah, and we all know how that turned out. And he made Gabriel Magalhaes look foolish because Magalhaes had to help Zinchenko further the pitch than not. So, my worry is Calafiori is the same way. I think Tony always talks about how Calafiori plays more offensive than defensive. Though I think Miles Lewis-Kelly plays more defense than Calafiori does. Which there's it to debate. Who would you start, Miles Lewis-Kelly or Calafiori?
Yeah, who do you think is going to start at left back? Do you think it would be Miles Lewis-Kelly, or will he continue with Calafiori?
I hope it's Lewis-Kelly because he's more physical, but yet he will track back faster and knows his role as a left back. I think it's risk versus reward with Lewis-Kelly, because at least you could feel okay with him being back there. Calafiori plays all over the place like Zinchenko did. That's my only concern. But moving forward, Calafiori is good. Lewis-Kelly, however, is more capable of playing Salah than Calafiori is.
I just think that Calafiori will start They'll both get minutes,
Mm.
but Lewis Skelly will be on the bench. Calafiori will start. Why? It's the same. It's the same again. They paid 45 million for him.
Well, also,
Arsenal paid
but
45 million pounds for Calafiori. If he's fit, he's going to start.
he's also been playing, Stan, and he's in great.
and it's not like it's not like he's starting him and he's been playing shit.
Yeah.
He has been playing good. He's contributed.
Yeah.
He's got goals and assists.
Yeah.
So he will start. But Miles Lewis Skelly, he'll definitely come on.
Yeah.
That will definitely be one of the substitutions. I guarantee that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But he will, Calafiori
Mikal
will be given his respect. He's a £45 million player here.
Well, Mikal does love it.
It's not, the snotty-nosed kid. He'll get his minutes. I'm, you know what I mean? I'm being sarcastic, but you know I'm coming from, right? So they will both play.
I also think,
but fit Calafiori.
I also think, Stan, that Miles Lewis Skelly may not have learned from last season. He still needs to mature as a defender. He's a little bit too brash, and he will. Listen, I can totally see a situation where Calafiori's on a yellow card after 55, 60 minutes, and we need to take him off. Miles Lewis Skelly will come on for 20, 25 minutes, but still get another yellow card. So that's how we have to manage that left back situation.
Yeah, but
because Miles Lewis Skelly plays with his heart a lot as well.
But remember, Gabriel Megalegs, one of my favourite players. Do you remember when he first came to us? Rash, needless yellow cards. Do you know what I mean? He was very much like that, and we managed to, he managed to learn. Somebody must have taught him. So, I believe that we can do that with Skelly. And the good thing about having Skelly on the bench and not starting, and you start Calafiori, you know that you can bring this player on to either cover for Calafiori, Zubimendi, or Rice.
Yeah.
It can slot into anyone. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. We could even see a situation where Rice comes off, and
because there's no Norgard either, right?
No Norgard.
There's no Norgard. So we have to make sure that there's somebody around that if they need to go a bit deep.
Yeah.
Skelly on the bench is ideal. He's so versatile. The Swiss Army.
Mikal Marino could be available as well. Mikal, the forgotten man.
Marino.
Don't forget about. Don't sleep on him.
But you have to look at it this way now with Jesus out and Havertz out and Gyökeres basically being forced to start if he's fit. Who's our break glass in case of emergency striker? It's Marino. They probably can't afford to mess around with him in midfield in case we need him for our next game. He's probably the backup forward now. He'll be on the bench and maybe he'll be coming on for Gyökeres when Gyökeres looks. Do you know what I'm getting at? Who else is there? Trossard? Maybe as a false nine?
Yeah.
But,
that would be
we can't afford. It doesn't mean that Gyökeres is going to play every single minute now. Cup games are coming up. Mourinho still has to be treated as a striker. How long is Havertz out for? When is Jesus back? You're playing a Carabao Cup game. You're playing a Carabao Cup game, and 3 days later there's a league game.
Yeah.
Are we going to play Gyökeres and both? That's stupid.
No.
And continue.
The Carabao Cup, just quickly, we've been drawing Port Vale away from home, and that'll be the last, probably the 23rd of September or something like that. Port Vale.
Didn't we have a really bad result against Port Vale many years ago?
I think that was Tottenham. I think Tottenham lost 2-1 to a player who looked a lot like me back in the day as well. My doppelganger a little bit. I forget his name, but I can find that for you later. What else is going on?
Bit of trivia.
Kirkez at the back post. I think I mentioned this briefly. The fullbacks, Zabuzai and Kirkez, they're two players that can be attacked very easily. You could attack them on the field with Martinelli and Madueke. We've got two wingers who could go at them. And also when it comes to corner kicks. Kirkez was found wanting against Newcastle. One thing I want to mention as well, Liverpool fans were very happy to laud the fact that Newcastle got caught up in the fervour of the occasion on Monday in that game, where Liverpool did win the game. But you're rightly say, Stan, they were rocking in that second half, even being a man to the good with Anthony Gordon being sent off. Um, I think the Anfield crowd could make it a raucous atmosphere, and sometimes that's not a good thing for the home crowd. See why I'm trying to spin?
They were so close. They were so close, Newcastle,
They were so close.
and you know, I think everybody outside of Liverpool were behind Newcastle because you know at the moment, I think a lot of people, rightly or wrongly, wherever you are, but I think there's a lot of people that are looking at. That's a word I think bullies look.
Playground bullies.
Want to snatch players. They want to snatch to buy that player to replace the player that you're going to snatch. You're going to buy them as well. You fucking bullies. You know what I mean? You're not getting my sweets. Yeah. You know, it's that kind of thing, right? And they've definitely got the money to buy Isak. But I mean, Anthony Gordon. I mean, again, you know, when people were talking about replacements of Martinelli, I couldn't believe that they were saying Anthony Gordon. He hasn't scored in like 20 goals. 20 games or something.
Well, he has about the same stats as Martinelli.
I don't see that as an upgrade. To me, that's just a
Look at their
stats,
Chris.
They're the same.
He's similar to Martinelli, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think in the last. I think when I was watching the game, they said a stat like they said something like he hasn't scored now into back to.
Now
I was like, why are we even looking at this guy? Why are we looking at this guy?
You get me a Semenyo, or you get me an Eze, which we did get Eze, or you get me a certain player at Real Madrid who's not happy right now. They are definite upgrades on Martinelli.
But we don't need no. But Semenyo's more right-sided. We've got that covered now. Yeah, Semenyo's more right-sided. I think
he plays on the left for Bournemouth.
Does he? Okay. Yep. For me, you know, if we can, you know, get Henkape, if that's what has to be done, and I say that meaning like I would actually be happy to just keep Kivior.
Yeah.
But obviously, maybe he's not getting guarantees about minutes, whatever. And okay, if you have to get rid of Kivior, do it with Henkape.
Some are saying
I don't know much about.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Henkape, but what I can tell you is I'm always when I play FIFA, I'm always a year behind because you get it free on Xbox Game Pass, and in my FIFA 24, whatever you want to call it, career mode, I ended up getting rid of Kivior, and his replacement was Henkape because he's a left-footed centre back and he had good stats. So you know, if that's the way it's got to go, you know.
Some people say
he's Europe. A lot of people say that he's a good prospect to that know about football. I never watched him. I just know him for like the stats on the FIFA thing.
Yeah.
But okay, I'd like to keep Kivior, but as I say, you know, he got 2 Man of the Match awards. I mean, for me, Kivior, I'd love to keep him and say to him, look, you know, I will take Gabriel out more. He won't. You know, Gabriel will not play every Carabao Cup game. He will not play every FA. You know. He will not play every. You know, I've tried to make it a little bit more, but if they're not willing to do that, fair enough.
Yeah. Looking at
it's crazy. We've signed 7 players, and this one could be the 8th, and there's a possibility of a 9th. This is like. It's madness. This is mad. We've almost bought another team.
Stan, we are characters in one of Gary's dreams, where Gary has been saying for years we need 8, 9, 10 players at the club, and even he probably didn't even believe that could happen. Right?
It's happening.
And it's happened.
Happening.
So, yeah. Gary, do not wake up. Do not wake up because we're enjoying the dream that you're having right now. Gary, if you could just dream of Rodrigo coming to Arsenal on loan, right, with an obligation or whatever Andrea Berta can cook up. Because you know what? We had Edu, and it wasn't quite happening. It was decent, and we got to a certain level. Now we got Berta.
Marquinhos.
We're living in.
We get Marquinhos. Man City gets Savinho. I mean,
yeah. We're living in a different world under Andrea Berta, and he's making things happen. Now, in the bigger
Good barbecues, though. I do. Good barbecue.
good Barbies though. In the grander scheme of this Premier League race, we couldn't really be playing Liverpool at a better time, Stan. Third game of the season,
No, I think they can be. I think they can be got
we've
at.
won two.
I really do. I said it. Their defense is shaky,
They've gotten away. They've
and
gotten
as
out.
and they're good on the attack. Got a great. You look at all of their front three. You can say all of them can score.
Yeah.
Maybe not with our front three. You know, there's no guarantee that Martinelli's going to score.
Yeah.
Gyökeres is still setting in. We ain't seen a lot. Saka's out.
I will.
Maybe guarantee a goal out of Saka. He's out, so that's mad. What I'm saying is they're all capable, but when you look at the Liverpool front three and you say which one will score, you go, well, any of them.
I will.
It's that they're that good.
I will settle
right?
for Madueke, Gyökeres, and Eze 3 goals, a goal each. We don't need to score base.
But you know what I'm saying though, right? You know, with those players from the Liverpool team, we're lucky that we've got a very good defence and a goalkeeper than a lot of other teams. So it's harder to do that, and I think that gives us a little bit of an edge. Whereas their defence, their defence can be got at. Seriously, man, their defence really.
We have a strong possibility of maybe just conceding 1 goal, and then it's up to us if we can get 1 or 2 goals.
I actually think that Liverpool are lucky to not be on 1 point so far out of 2 games because they look shaky. They did not win convincingly.
Remember against Bournemouth.
Man City lost 2-0.
Remember against Bournemouth?
Man City lost 2-0.
It was 2-2 against Bournemouth, and then they scored a late goal with Chiesa, and then Salah in injury time. So they've actually gone into the 85th minute in each game.
But they keep look how many goals that they've let in the net. How many goals have we let in the net?
Yeah. 4. Right. They've conceded 4 in 2 games.
They've had to have player situations. They've been in that situation where players have bailed them out, right? Maybe they'll get in a situation where they'll have goals in the back of their net and they ain't going to be able to get bailed out. You're lucky they go so far. I thought they were very lucky last season, and I'm not taking away from them because they were champions, right?
Yeah,
but they were not. They were not. There were games where I was like, there are many games I was like, how the fuck did they win that? How did they get anything out of that? But that can only go so now with Arne Slot, the man with the shiniest head in the universe. That head is really shiny, man. I think that now that he's had to add players, maybe there's going to be we'll see what he's really like.
So we have
because he took over. He took over a pot. Basically, the team that he took over. What I say about Arteta? Oh yeah, Arteta won the FA Cup, but it wasn't. It was a team that was already there. Well, look at Slot. He won the league with a pot noodle team. All he got to do was add water, which was Chiesa. It was already made.
Yeah.
But now he's got extra jigsaw pieces, and it's going to be interesting to see. Do you know what I mean? How he is, because we've only seen him for one season. That's all we know about him.
I'm going to start.
And he took over Klopp's team.
We need to come up with a nickname for Arne Slot, and what I've got so far is Slaphead Slot. Slaphead. Alonso or Stan, feel free to just be creative here and come up with some nicknames for Arnie as well. Because they'll go with Lego Head and they'll go at Super Duper Mick,
It reminds me of Lex Luthor.
I saw your tweet about was it the Empire Strikes Back?
The guy with the thing, yeah, exactly. I don't know what his name is, but he looks like him, right? He's from the picture.
His eyes are closed. His eyes are closed until the signals go in, and he's like,
"Yeah,
I'm awake."
You know who I mean?
Yeah.
The guy in CA Clouds with whenever they first come in and then Parisian tells them to I guess
he basically Alonso, that guy does all of the work in that city, but Lando Calrissian takes all of the credit. You know what I mean? That's
yeah.
You know he's running Cloud City, but Lando is like I'm the face
on the boss.
on the face that everybody sees, and they have a lovely life, but it's because of this guy behind me.
And that was a womanizing trick too.
So I'll have to Google that guy's name a little bit later because that'll bother me. You know what I mean? But in the context of the Premier League, the third game in the season, it's sort of it'd be a great time to strike against Liverpool. As we said, they've been shaky, and we'll wrap it up in the next 10 or 15 minutes here. As we say, they've been shaky first couple of games. It's a great time to strike, and what I don't want to do is have to chase Liverpool. I'd rather have them chase us in this Premier League race, and I see because of Man City losing to Tottenham, I see it as a two-horse race already. You know what I mean? Between us and Liverpool, and I slightly favor us in the long run. I'm going to put my neck on the line again. Two necks on the line. Isak is not going to move, and I want to get both of your viewpoints. Isak is not going to move to Liverpool, and the other neck on the line is that Arsenal will pip Liverpool to the title. Stan, is Chris Isaac going to Liverpool?
Who?
Chris Isaac. Yeah.
Oh, the singer.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's Chris Isaac. Well, they've just signed someone for 70 million, right?
Yeah,
So,
Newcastle. So
I would like to see Newcastle not give in.
Me too.
Me too. But 150
But-
million is a lot of money.
You-
But it's their first season in the Champions League, and they're not going to get an opportunity to spread that money around now. I mean, it's nice getting 150 million in pre-season, where you can,
You
bring
can't.
players in and
You can-
bed them in, but it's
You can
still
spend it on
very late.
office supplies.
And apparently, I heard that the ownership of Newcastle flew in, probably from wherever it is that the ownership is, flew in and went to his house,
Huh.
went round there,
Yes.
went round to Isak's house.
I can
You can imagine that you're sitting. It's a Tuesday
Yeah.
night. You're sat on the sofa watching
Your
EastEnders,
cuppa.
and all of a sudden it's like ding dong.
Cuppa.
You got a cuppa. You got slippers on. You're like, who the fuck is that? It's like 9 o'clock at night.
He's
You
been,
open the
he's
door,
been,
there's
Yeah.
like the fucking ownership.
Stan, you got your
There's like the fucking
McVitie's. You're just dipping it into the tea, right? You got your McVitie's tea. McVitie's.
but they weren't able to make any headway. So it's going to go right down to the wire. But I mean, if you're Ekatike, what's your take? You brought me in. You've been picking me every week. I'm scoring.
He'll be playing. He'll still play, but
So what are you going to do now? What's happening now then? What, are you going to play me out of position to accommodate this guy? What's happening here?
he'll get
Do you know what I
you
mean?
get maybe 1,000 minutes this season. You know what I mean? At the end of the day.
Do you think Isak ends up at Liverpool before the window shuts?
See, my heart says he's going to stay at Newcastle.
I
But
do
my
think
head
that
is
I do think that if Liverpool don't at least come in with another bid, it kind of looks like they've just disrupted the transfer window for the sake of it. Do you know what I mean?
the word on the street has it that they are preparing another bid.
fucking hell.
But I hope it doesn't happen.
How do you prepare a bid? Do you actually stack the notes up one by one? You come up with a number, you make a phone call. How do you actually prepare the bid?
What you do is you put the money,
Cash,
Dan, you put the money in the
put
machine.
the $5 ones here, you put the $10, you put the
The
20s,
machine
you put
goes.
the
The
100s.
machine goes.
You just fucking prepare a bid.
You know the machine that goes.
I hear them like in Scarface when they're counting the drug money. It's like,
And then you got the,
I
you
mean,
get the bands.
fucking hell.
You get the,
preparing a bid. You either want the guy, or you don't. You've either got a number or you
and
have.
then you put it through.
Just send the
put it
facts.
through the
Do you know what I
machine,
mean?
and then it bands around it. The monopoly money gets banded that way.
But I stand say like, why is sign Eddie Wake knowing that you're going to put a bid in for Isak? It doesn't make any sense. It's like, how greedy do they want to be, man? I hope he just stays with Newcastle and realize that they need him more than he needs
Right.
them. So
I'm leaning towards Newcastle will have the big boy attitude that we are a club to be reckoned with. this is an asset we want to keep at least this season, and Isak will be reintegrated back into the squad with Eddie Howe. I think that's how it's going to go down.
Well, they've just spent 70 million
But
or something like that on a player from Germany, right? Who Bayern Munich wanted earlier on in the window for 100 million. 100 million, and we're told no. This team, I think a German team, is it Werder Bremen? I think it is.
Yeah.
Got him on a free, and so they bought this. They bought this guy. Surely this guy is not turning down Bayern Munich to go to Newcastle to be the second string striker behind Isak. Do you know what I'm getting at? Surely he's been told. Do you know what I mean? So they must have a plan already. Isak can go. They'll buy someone else as their backup. They've already got another striker anyway who scored. Ossie, what's his name? Ossie. Maybe this is the trigger point. But yeah, because why would you come from Germany? Oh yeah, we're going to get Isak and then you might play.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'll just go to Bayern Munich then. I'll just go to Bayern Munich and play there. Going to Bayern Munich to fight for Harry Kane's place, they're saying that they want to play them together.
Mm.
So he had that opportunity. He must Liverpool, which means, at Newcastle, which means that okay, there's Isak is leaving.
Ish. Yeah, listen, I hope not. I think Alonso is feeling the same as me that he won't leave. Because what are Newcastle then if they let Isak go? They're just another team that are in the top half of the table, not competing for trophies. Sean said, I believe Kiwior is solid, but Hincape is a solid upgrade. He's strong in the air, excellent crosser, good defensively, and was part of that Xabi Alonso Leverkusen treble side. A solid player. And maybe they're finding that in Germany that Alonso's gone, that Xavi Alonso's gone now, that the team's breaking up a little bit. Granit Xhaka went to Sunderland. This is our revenge for last season, says Tiger and Gunnar. I'm disappointed Dowman, Mazu, Skelly, and Mosquera came on the pitch, but opted to wear the white base layer instead of the long sleeve kit. Ethan Odegaard and Zubimendi donned the glorious new long sleeve shirts. Yeah, players now have differing ideas. Arnie Slaw looks like Butterbean's love child. Is that a South Park reference? Butterbeans?
No, he was a boxer.
Okay.
4 rounds.
Does that track?
The king of the 4 rounds. Butterbean.
I think he looks a bit like him.
Who does?
Arnie Slot looks like him. No?
A little bit.
Okay. Newcastle need to follow Napoli's lead and send the Isak to the Turkish League. A little bit of chat about the Champions League before we get out here. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win up at Anfield for the first time we win there in many years. And remember the All or Nothing documentary where we went to Liverpool and lost quite heavily. Those days have gone. And we can go there and be very competitive and win the game, in my opinion. Bayern are looking at Nicholas Jackson. Surely Newcastle should offer him to Bayern. Vlahovic still available. So, but Newcastle, Newcastle not going to get the caliber of player that Isak is. Leverkusen players are leaving because they have Ten Hag as manager there. Man, I miss Tony. I miss some of Tony's takes these days. He'll be back though, I'm sure. Stan is typing up something. I don't know what.
No, I'm just putting out a thing for my back thing. Sorry, I'm doing that while we
were talking. Yeah. The script? Jeez. Alonso, did you see the draw for the Champions League?
A little bit of it, yeah. We had some easy games in there, mix of we had Bayern Munich, I believe, so it'll be a revenge game over there. So,
Harry
looking
Kane.
forward to battering Harry Kane there in both return legs and away game. And I didn't see who else we played, but it looks pretty favorable.
Inter
Favorable.
Milan. Inter Milan away from home might be tricky. They are the finalists who were beaten 5-0 by PSG this past May.
Yeah,
Athletic. So we have two Athletics. We have an Athletic club and we have Atleti themselves. I'm thinking one of them's Atletico Madrid and the
yeah.
other is
With Atletico Madrid, they always play defensively, right? They always play that boring.
Kojak.
What's his name? Um, Simeone, right? Diego Simeone. But yeah, they play football that works for them. And other club have Nico Williams. So yeah, very very interesting draw. I guess with I believe we also drew Monaco. I believe is that correct?
No, we got Olympiacos, Club Bruges,
Okay.
Slavia Prague, and Kairat Almaty.
Yeah,
Almaty.
it's interesting draws there, but
Could be the
you
team
know,
that knocked out Celtic. I'm not sure about that.
I think we'll be competitive. We'll be favorites. I'm assuming. I think we have a strong line, a strong enough lineup that we could disrupt whoever we play.
Yeah, as Sean said here, I think it's been very kind to us, the draw has, which of course rival fans, being the age that we're living in, will seize upon this and say Arsenal's got another easy draw and easy passage to the knockout stages once again. And these are games, honestly, where we could play half half of our first team and win games. You know what I mean? So Mikel Arteta's got a lot of players now in his squad. He's going to have to use wisely. 5 out of the 8 teams we will play have to be nothing less than 3 points. Bayern, Inter, and Atletico Madrid are the only tough opponents. Exactly, and we play Bayern and we play Atletico at home. The only really tough fixture in all 8 of these is Inter Milan away from home. So I know Stan and Alonso, you're both sweet on Arsenal getting further than the semi-final stage last season. Uh, and we have a great chance of getting back into the knockout stages. We are top 4, top 8 within Europe easily, and so and I've said this now for a time that we need to be in this competition for a few years in order to have a chance to win it, and you need to be in it 3, 4, 5 seasons maybe before you even develop the knowledge or the know-how to play in Europe and to be. And honestly, you need a little bit of luck. You need a huge slice of luck as well. Who loves maybe
Yeah.
Kojak? I love the Kojak reference. Stan, UEFA Champions League draw. It's been very kind to us. We should be able to conduct a Premier League challenge alongside the Champions League progression to the knockout stages.
I'm ready for any.
Bring them on.
We managed to dump out. We managed to dump out in style, home and
Yes.
away. So I'm ready for anybody.
Yeah. Bring them on, baby. Okay. I know that Trent Alexander-Arnold has to go back to Liverpool as well. Terence Trent Derby. Arsenal will beat Liverpool 2-1 at the weekend. That's what I picked as well as my choice. Put a tenner on it. All right, Stan, you're out of here. Give us your final. Is that you or Alonso? That's Alonso, I think.
No,
Got
I've
to
got to
go
go
for dinner, right?
Yeah, got to go for my dinner. Dinner's getting cold. So
All right, mate.
I'm thinking
Cheers.
3-1. 3-1 Arsenal.
I would absolutely love that. You know.
Yeah.
All right, Stan. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. Fun podcast.
See you later,
Enjoyed
everyone.
it. Alonso and I will pick
Cheers,
it out.
Take care, pal. Right. So for me, as you know, Ray, and maybe some people in the chat box, I work with one of my friends who works at the sushi place where I work at. and his name is Ben Wittebong. I'm not joking. His name is Benjamin. I call
We're
him
totally
Benjo.
gonna out him there.
So yeah, we his brother I worked at. I told him that it'd be 3-2 to the Arsenal, and I say 3-2 because of course Salah always scores against Arsenal.
Yeah.
And they'll find a way to score a second goal. However, I think Arteta had a boys motivated to show out at Anfield. I think the Andre Arshavin display there in 2009
Yeah.
was a bit of excellence. However, I don't think we'll get that. I don't think we'll get one player showcase rather. I think it'll be a team effort. I think you'll see a set piece corner kick scored. I think Christensen scored, and I'm hoping that maybe they score as well. So yes, we see the Arsenal.
Yeah. I would love Gyökeres to score because then the next thing they're going to say is Gyökeres can't score against the bigger teams. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's what they'll say. He can score against the weaker teams. And listen, a little bit of a word for Leeds. I think that they will be okay. I think they've got a great chance of not being relegated, and Mr. Tom will be happy to stay in the Premier League in the bottom half of the table. I think they're good enough not to be one of the three worst teams in the Premier League right now. West Ham could be one of them, Alonso.
yeah. It's look. I think you have a case for all three teams that are really promoted to be really get promoted, stay up.
Mm,
Um, because I see a lot of tangibles amongst all three teams.
uh,
They made good signings, all of them. I think if you saw the Burnley game, who did they beat, right? Burnley.
Burnley beats Sunderland. Is
Okay,
that
yeah,
right?
that's right.
Yeah.
So you saw some really, really good goals being scored by their striker, I believe. Um, yeah, so there's an argument that you could say that our three teams can stay up. However, I do sense that West Ham would get sent down, which is a shame because this is what happens whenever you don't have the proper coaching, you don't have the proper management, you don't
Oh,
have the proper coaching.
it's so funny this one though because when he was at Brighton, and Brighton is a club that is run very well, right? What are we talking about? Potter here, Graham Potter.
Yeah,
When he was at Brighton, that club was run very well, and they identified the right players. They brought in really good players. Graham Potter took a lot of the credit from even Arsenal fans. Said, "Why aren't we getting a manager like Graham Potter?" Now you put them into a situation where they're not identifying the right players and not bringing them in, and even the likes of Kudos has left West Ham. They're going to struggle this season.
I
And
believe also Alvarez. Sorry, I believe Alvarez also too for Fenerbahce. So
uh
it's like, what are the standards now of players leaving? If
yeah,
a player, your star player actually is very good, leaves
yeah.
for a team in Turkey, Fenerbahce. What are they got to offer that West Ham don't? So it's just so weird. Even though they're London rivals,
Hmm.
you ask yourself what went wrong. I remember whenever they used the Declan Rice money, um, that they would use it on Alvarez, they used it on Pesquera, I believe, Pesquera, and
Yeah.
kudos, right? They got kudos at that money. So it's
I agree.
like, yeah, they
I agree.
use all
Mhm. Good.
they use all that money, and it's like where they at now? I think Pesquera is the only one left over, and he wants out too. And he had Jerry Bowen, the co-captain, acting a fool, and it's like, where did it all go wrong, son? You know?
Yeah.
So, and then also, I feel bad for clubs like Brighton, or not, Brentford. got absolutely murdered in the transfer window. And my hope is that they stay up despite all that. Um, and I think Crystal Palace are in a good place because their manager is just that good, where he can make something out of nothing. So I'm not worried about them going down. But I do see Wolves going down as well.
Ooh.
Unfortunately. Hmm.
Ooh.
I don't want them to because they've been run very well, but I guess when you lose your players or other clubs are in for your players,
Yeah.
then you get the same thing like West Ham. But in West Ham in Wolves' case, they just don't have the money to compete.
Listen, I like some of the West Ham fans that I know. I've done a podcast with Charlie,
Mhm.
and there's another guy called Athers, I think. They're good guys, but most of the West Ham fan base got really triggered about Declan Rice and wished nothing but bad things uh,
Yeah.
against Arsenal in the last 2 or 3 seasons. Even to the point of I think that West Ham, when we went to the final day against City, we were
Mhm.
fighting against Everton, and they were playing West Ham at home,
That's right.
right? And West Ham fans were quite happy for Manchester City to take 3 points and turn them over. So it meant that Declan Rice was not going to win a trophy with Arsenal. So for that reason, I'm quite calm about West Ham struggling this season and going down, if that's even a possibility. You know?
It'd be funny if Jared Bowen put in a transfer and we got Jared Bowen by chance.
Ooh.
It's by chance.
Yeah.
And he comes out and says he comes out and says, "Well, mate, it ain't my fault that West Ham don't put in the effort. The ownership there sucks, man. As you know, like
Yeah.
they allowed this to happen.
Sullivan, I think, is the owner. So uh, the other thing as well, Sean has mentioned, and this was just quickly about Everton. Grealish coming to Everton.
Yeah,
That was a big pickup for Everton as well to go and get Grealish. And I thought that they would beat Brighton at home, and turned out it was a good game at their stadium. Going to that stadium won't be easy this season for any team going to Everton. And
you
Grealish
know,
to have found some life again. You know what I mean?
yeah. And I tell you what, Ray, you could say, well, yeah, he's kind of motivated to play better because again, next summer's World Cup,
Hmm.
and for a long time, Jack Grealish was part of those World Cup teams, even Euro teams.
Yeah.
And so I think he's kind of motivated by being omitted. I think the Euros and
Yeah.
so I mean, as an English supporter, England supporter rather, I will hope that he does get a second chance with Graham Trotter with Jesus Tommy Tuchel. Um, yeah, exactly, Sean. Um, because I have a friend of mine. I work for HEB at the grocery store, and a customer of mine. He is a diehard West Ham supporter, and at first, I'm sure he wasn't delighted that the fact that Declan Rice went to Arsenal, but he talked very highly of Declan Rice, and wishing him nothing but the best.
Hmm.
Um, I saw it real quickly. I saw an essay. I saw this guy. He was asking Crystal Palace supporters on how they felt about essay leaving,
Yes.
and they couldn't they couldn't stop talking about good words about him and how he always thought highly of the Crystal Palace supporters, and they
Yeah.
wished nothing but the best because they knew Ray that going to Arsenal was the best thing for him.
And it completes his journey. It completes Eze's journey because as a teenager, he's released by Arsenal, Cried for about a week, the story goes, and then he pulled up his shoelaces, tied his boots, and went. What? He actually worked.
Queen Park Rangers.
He worked in a grocery store for a little bit,
Oh wow.
right? Yeah. So he had to go to QPR and back to Crystal Palace, and the, the phone call to Mikel Arteta is, "Please save me from Tottenham. Please save me from
So
this."
he called. So how did it all go down? He called him, right?
He called Arteta and was like, "Is there any possibility at all?" Arteta called a meeting in the boardroom, and it was sanctioned to go and get him. So we did it very quickly. Right? You love these stories, and you just
Yeah, because like
Eze is going to play his socks off for Arsenal now.
yeah, because like
We'll see it on
I
Sunday.
remember didn't like news break midday
Yeah,
around like 1:30 at
yeah,
night
yeah,
or afternoon, right?
yeah.
So I look at my phone. I look at my phone. I remember it's agreeing to terms for Arsenal. Like what the heck? It was like we hear right how Tottenham are in form. Like oh Jesus.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, like you see Fabrizio, aka Here We Go, saying Here we go. That's not how he says it, but you get my point, right? And I'm like, I'm
Fabrizio
like,
is Fabrizio is making some decent coin out of 30 or 40 tweets a day. He's he's turning that blue tick into a money making
Jesus,
machine.
man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like I was like, Arsenal had hijacked the move for Eze to Tottenham. I'm like, dude, there's no way. And it was like, it was just so surreal, right?
No.
And then when they signed him, I'm like, wow, man, this is
Um,
fantastic.
Sean said, which is why I believe we should make a shock move for Mainu. He wants to get into that England squad and won't be sitting on the bench at United. I know they won't let him, but man, I would love it. In a World Cup year, it's very important. I tweeted about the need for Eze to go and play at Arsenal to get into that or to maintain his England squad position. But I also tweeted that Mark Gahey needs to stay at Crystal Palace to also get into the England team because if he goes to Liverpool, he's going to sit behind Van Dijk and sit behind Konate. You know.
Can I say, yeah, yeah, and there are people amongst the England fan base, and me included,
Mm-hmm.
that when Harry Kane decides to hang it up, that you can make an argument that both Gahey and Rice can be a part of that leadership group in the future.
Yeah.
Because Mark Gahey to me, I would want him at Arsenal because he is that much of a professional
He's a good player.
on England and at Crystal Palace. He just because I watched his career throughout the years, and I'm like, man, how cool would it be if he was an Arsenal player? But with that said, Ray, is watched the Euros last summer. He just became a great center back for club and country
Yes.
overnight. Seems like.
Right. And he needs to play. He needs to play to get better and to be ready for. Listen, a World Cup doesn't come around but every 4 years, and depending on where you are and at what age you are when the World Cup comes around,
Mhm.
you could miss the boat. Like I think maybe Theo Walcott was one of these. He went to a World Cup at the age of 16. He was too young.
Mhm.
He was too young to be able to play too many games under Ericsson. If it had been 2 or 3 years later, now he's 19, he would have been established and he would have played in a World Cup. I think England missed out on a World Cup after that. I'm not sure. But Theo Walcott didn't have a World Cup career that he or appearances that he needed. You know what I mean? And I'm going back to
Yeah, England.
2006. I know.
Yeah, so
Or maybe
Walcott played in 2010. England The drew against USA.
Right. Was it a poor World Cup showing, wasn't it?
I believe so. Yeah.
In South Africa. 2010 would have been South Africa.
Yeah, because Clint Dempsey got the goal, and I believe it was what's his name? Joe Hart fumbled it.
Joe Hart. Good old Joe Hart.
Yeah.
Sean said England's Gay is England's best centre back as well. He
Mm-hmm.
needs to stay and gets to go wherever he wants next summer. Exactly. Get yourself keep playing, get yourself into that World Cup squad. Okay, you want to be on the plane to go to America and Canada and Mexico. You don't want to be sitting back at home at Liverpool. So for me,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Robert Green. So for me, it's like Isak, stay where you
That's
are because we want as an Ars. Listen, as an Arsenal fan, if we were after Isak, I'd be totally ruthless and want him to come to Arsenal. That's the tribalism of football. As an Arsenal fan, I don't want him to go to Liverpool. But somebody said earlier in the stream that if Isak did come to Liverpool, the balance might not be right. You never know when you introduce players. Imagine Liverpool having a Wirtz and an Isak that didn't work. That would be the biggest mess of over 300 million combined. You know what I mean? That would be crazy if that happened as well. Um,
right. Like to me, like you've seen this in the Premier League a lot, where you sign these big name players and
mhm.
they're on the same team and it don't work because formation, playing styles, getting acclimated. Um,
Yep.
wow. So the dynamic, the ball, at the feet. Who wants who? What am I going to get an assist from this person? Um, the ball hogging. You know,
Yeah.
dangling at the feet kind of stuff. Robert Green was playing for West Ham.
Yeah. Real quickly, we'll just go through the fixtures this weekend. Um, Chelsea, Fulham. Chelsea at home to Fulham. I think Chelsea can get a win there. Following it up on the
Oh,
5-0 win or 5-1
yeah.
win in West Ham. They're going to play another London rival in Fulham. Fulham are a better team, but I think Chelsea will take care of them at home. Right?
I,
Um,
if you were playing an upset special,
yes. It would
then
have only be
this would
it would only be you and I doing that right now. So I might be able to get some buy-in after the transfer window closes. Might be able to get some buy-in to be able to do the upset special. Um, but
so
I
is
might
this
switch
game
it up.
at
Might switch it
is
up a
this
little
game
bit,
at the current
Alonso.
uh,
You know what?
is this match
Sorry, what if I switch it
uh,
up? Like a home win would be 3 points, an away win would be 9 points, and a draw would
I
be
see what you're
6
doing.
points. You like the way we
I
do it?
see what you're doing. I like how I see what you're doing. You don't want me to be champion anymore, huh?
Huh?
You don't want me to be in the first place anymore, huh? Right? I see how it is. Okay.
Well, we'll talk about the rules.
No, but
Wolverhampton Wanderers at home to Everton. I think this could be a draw. Wolves could get a draw here at home to Everton.
ooh, yeah. I mean, where's Fulham going to be at? Right, Fulham and Chelsea.
It's Stamford Bridge.
Oh wow, okay. Right. So I think Chelsea is going to win
Chelsea
two
win.
one.
Yeah.
I think West Ham, or excuse me, Wolves,
Wolves.
and who else?
Everton. Jack Grealish and Everton.
Everton, right.
Away
I
from
think
home.
Everton win this game.
You think Everton are going to go to Molineux and win? I think it's a draw. I think Wolves
Yeah.
is great for point here in this game. Next one up. Here's a tough one, Alonso. Tottenham at home to Bournemouth. This will test how good Tottenham is. Bournemouth are a very good team. I'm going to go for a draw
Mhm.
there also.
I say a 2-2 draw.
Sean said a 2-2 draw. I agree with you. Tottenham, Bournemouth draw. Sean said Chelsea tied Palace 0-0. So who knows? That was the first game in the season as well. And Chelsea had that Club World Championship. So um, difficult. I think Chelsea are up and running now. Fulham beat Chelsea last season. But what about this season, Tiger? Everton 2-0. Sean, wow, nobody's giving Wolves a chance here. Tigers giving, well, Wolves against, got to be Wolves against Everton now. Tiger, let me know. Uh, Tiger says Spurs win 2-1. Next one up. This is a good one. Manchester United versus Burnley at Old Trafford.
Oh,
Yes.
I Burnley win this game, right?
Burnley win.
They played good against Sunderland. Again, and this is
Did you watch?
Burnley win this game.
Did you watch them against Sunderland? They played well.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
they look pretty
Uh,
good.
who's the manager there at Burnley?
I forgot.
Now, is it that the guy from the Southampton manager last season, James or something? Uh,
I
Sunderland,
think so.
Sunderland at home to Brentford. Brentford have had a tricky time, but Brentford did win the last game 1-0 away from home. Sunderland are probably strong at home under Granit Xhaka as well.
Mhm.
Uh, I would go Sunderland win. Sunderland beat Brentford. What do you think?
I say draw.
Sunderland
2-2
Brentford draw.
draw.
I think Sunderland wins this one. This will be interesting. We can
Mhm.
go back on and check this after on Sunday. Leeds United at home to Newcastle. I think Newcastle win this game at Elland Road against Leeds United.
I have Leeds winning for some reason. I
You
think
have
3-2
Leeds.
Leeds.
You have Leeds winning. I have Newcastle winning. Um, Tiger and Sean said 2-2 draw at Old Trafford. Scott Parker. Thank you, Sean. Scott Parker is the manager at Burnley. Brighton at home to Man City. This is going to be a good game, Alonso. 9 o'clock on Sunday morning for me. It's a precursor to the big game at Anfield. Brighton at home to Man City. I think Man City bounce back and
Oh,
win this game.
I think Brighton have been known to play good against top teams.
They have.
I think Danny Welbeck scores. I think it could be a. Going for Brighton to win this game.
You're going for Brighton to win at home, which is fair. I think
Yeah.
Man City will squeeze the life out of the game and win 1 or 2-0. Holland hasn't come to the fore yet. Um, Nottingham Forest at home. Nottingham Forest at home to West Ham. This is my banker. Uh, Nottingham Forest win
Mm.
this game easily, 3-0.
So what's this game at, right?
This is at Nottingham. West Ham have to travel to the City Ground.
I think West Ham could pull for upset. I say that because I think Jared Bowman Jared Bowman
Gary Bowen.
will get the guys up ready for it. Yeah, Jared Bowman gets the guys up ready for this one. They
Okay,
gotta win, right? They gotta win.
they got it. I mean, they're in big trouble if they don't win, right? After three
So,
games. I don't know what they have, 0 points right now. Yeah,
mhm.
they're bottom of the league. Um, and the Wolves have no points either. Brighton have 1 point. And next one up is we'll skip over the big match at Anfield. Anfield at Anfield. Chris Aston Villa versus Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace are a decent team, but Aston Villa have to get some points, and I think Aston Villa win this game. Playing at home.
I think Palace. I think Palace win this one, Ray. I don't know. I kind of want Palace to win this
Palace
year, Ray. I not the league, but
have
I
had
want them
two
to do
draws.
well. So I'm going
Two draws, Alonso.
Palace.
Palace have had two draws.
Palace, right?
Yep.
They fight back, and so um
They came back
they have
against
heart.
Forest. Yeah, they got heart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sarr is a good player.
So yeah, he's very good. They have Mateta too. Mateta,
Yep.
he's really good as well. So I'll go for Crystal Palace. Three
Sean
two win for
has
Palace.
Sean has Forest winning also, 3-0. Tiger and Gunners got Forest winning, 4-1. And West Ham's going to be at the bottom of the table. 1-1 draw. Villa struggling and Palace still good without Eze. And Blasner is a solid manager. I
Mm,
just feel that Unai Emery's got to pull a rabbit out of the hat here. Ollie Watkins and all of those players need to start clicking. Aston Villa 2, Crystal Palace 2. And I think they've lost they've lost Rodgers, right? Newcastle signed Rodgers as well. So
hmm
listen, we all know that Arsenal are going to win up at Anfield, and that is the main thing, Alonso. Um, I think I'll definitely do a pre-game show on Sunday morning. Whether you want to join me or not is another question. But
Yeah, I'll join Ray because I'm working that day, so I'll join.
you're not going to see the game.
Yeah, I am, but not. Yeah, I am.
You'll be what? It'll be at work. It'll be on at work or what? How are you going to see the game?
I'm gonna try. So I go on 12:30 my time.
You're what?
So I might just I go on and work at 12:30 my time. 12:30 my time.
Yeah.
So
They go to
I'll
work
watch
at
the
12.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, 12:30. Yeah, so I'll watch
That's
it.
when the game's on.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
it starts at 10:30 my time.
10:30. It starts at 10:30 your time. Okay, so you're going in at 12:30.
Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah.
you'll see most of the game.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're not far away from work. You're gonna
Like
leave
8 minutes.
8 minutes.
Yeah.
You got it timed exactly.
Yeah.
All right, Alonso. Listen, had a good chat tonight with all of you,
Yeah, it was fun.
everybody in the chat box as well. Um, those of you who are watching this recorded, uh, like to see some comments. Drop some comments in the box. Let me know what your predictions are. Let me know what your thoughts are on the players coming in or anything we talked about tonight. Let me know your thoughts on Manchester United and what a mess they are in. Let me know your thoughts about um, the results that could be happening this weekend in the Premier League. Um, Leeds know where they are in the food chain in relation to Arsenal. Uh, the next thing, Alonso, we need to do is make sure Liverpool know where they're set in the food chain as well. So we'll leave it there. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And we are out of here. Alonso, take care of yourself. We'll see you on the next one,
Sure.
okay? Maybe next Thursday or because I won't see you Sunday probably, okay? Take
Sure.
care. Come on, you Gunners. Let's go get that. Those 3 points at Anfield would be priceless, and you would have bragging rights, Alonso, with the guy you work with, who's a Liverpool fan. We all know Liverpool fans who we'd like to shut up right now. Sean, we hope to see you again on the next podcast. We are out of here. Take care, everyone. And thank you, Tiger and Gunnar, and everybody who's been here, and Nick as well.